Holy crap.
People persist in doubting the evidence.
Don't run and hide. Don't be afraid. Don't turn away any longer. The truth will set you free.
You're listening to Jimmy Church Fade to Black on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
We're turning all of our antennas towards Jimmy Church on Dark Matter Radio.
And now, your host, the captain of conspiracy, the prince of paranormal. This ain't your daddy's radio network show. This is Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Yeah. Sweaty palms. I said it. How you doing? Yeah. Fade to black. Heart is racing. Adrenaline pumping. Sounds like an old Judas Priest record. This is Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Wednesday, January 14th, 14 days into the new year, 351 days left. As always, we are live from the truthfunders.com studios right here, downtown Burbank, California. Truth Funders, the #1 crowdfunding platform for paranormal films, research, expeditions, and inventions of the unknown. For KJCR and the Dark Matter Radio Network, I am your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking? Everybody catch Jonas? Jonas and Mark? I think they were on with Mark Willis. It was Mark Willis, right? Podcast UFO. I caught it in the middle. Good job, guys. Big salute to the proud men and women in uniform. Without them, there is no me, there is no you, there is no us, and you could not hear me right now. Think about it. Let's get this show cracking. Everybody subscribe to the podcast. Everybody listening right now, they listen live. They're like, podcast? We don't need no stinking podcast. We got Dark Matter Radio. Listen to you live, man. But if you do miss the show, you need to get caught up. You want to show off. You want to be that guy at the water cooler in the morning. Subscribe. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. Click on podcast. It's right there. $2. Enough of that. I'm ready. We got a great show tonight. Great show tonight. Tonight is one of those nights, just like last night, you just want to get something warm to drink. Nestle up to your speaker. Feel it vibrate. Because tonight we have Jose Escamilla on the show with us. Moon Rising. Moon Rising 2. Went back and watched today. I got me some vintage Barra. I did, man. Mike Barra. Hey, Mike, you got to bring back that hairstyle you had in 2009. It was cool, though, man. It is just an amazing documentary. We will be talking to Jose about that tonight. What's funny is Jose is just right down the street from the studio. And he knows the secret location now. I got to warn him tonight. Keep it on the down low. The down low. What are we going to do this Saturday for Fader Cinema? We got to make it good because I got invited today, Rita and I, to go hang out with a friend of ours, L.B. Fields, and his wife, Kat Dawson. Kat is one of the best guitar players out there, and she was for forever. I don't know if she still does, but was with Cyndi Lauper. But she's played with everybody out there. I think she even played with Prince. I could be wrong. But they want to go out Saturday. So you want to keep us in the studio. We got to make it real good. Maybe we'll go out with Kat and LB after Fader Cinema. But any suggestions for Fader Cinema? Because I want to stay in. Well, I want to go out. I want to do both. But I was thinking, so I'm going to throw this out there. This is what Rocky Horror, Wise Frog, good choice. I was thinking Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That'll keep me in the house. What do you guys think? Killer Clowns? Killer Clowns? Maybe a double feature? I'm just saying. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Steve just said on Twitter, follow us on Twitter right now, at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do, hashtag TMRadioNet. Steve just tweeted the original version of The Thing. I just watched that a couple of weeks ago, actually. Pretty funny. Mark Dunbar just approved Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Yeah, Tammy Norton just said Killer Clowns is good. You know what's really good? Spaceboy just approved. Dan just said Repo Man. Repo Man? Is that sci-fi enough? But Ruth just said, let's rewatch the Montauk File or Chronicles. Oh, man, it was such an amazing movie. But the Waco, Texas documentary, really? Ooh. Space Invaders is good. Bob, I'm with you on that. I'm still feeling Forbidden Planet. Yeah, that's a good one. But I think there's some restrictions on Forbidden Planet. We all know my feelings about Forbidden Planet, man. That's one of the great ones. It's like my top 3 science fiction films of all time. Let's see here. Where are we? They Live. Jonathan, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I'm in a Killer Clowns mood, though. Certainly some of the most demonic clowns ever. That you remember the clown, the big guy when he smiles and he's got like 48 extra gray teeth. That grin. Man, that whole thing was shot here in the Valley, by the way. Eraserhead, Jim Kenney. I'm with you on that one. Okay. All right. I would back off a step. Spaceballs from Jack Assman. Listen. Okay. Oh, man, that's why I love you guys. Okay. We can take, I just watched Rocket Ship X MK28. I do. I watch all this old stuff all the time. I go back and I'm constantly watching it. Okay, what was it? Spaceballs? And what was the other one? Eraserhead. Okay, maybe we should have. Okay, we need to vote. Let's make this a democracy instead of some crazy dictatorship, because it's about you. It's not about me. I suggested Killer Clowns. I'm in a Killer Clowns mood, but Eraserhead. Ooh. And Spaceballs, I'll watch that anytime. Okay, where was I? I got all distracted. I just love a Buckethead concert. Dan, how do you know about Buckethead? That, man, see, the Fadernauts, listen, if you can hear my voice right now, the fact that a Faderhead just said Buckethead, a Fadernaut just said Buckethead on Twitter, shows you how cool this show is. Right there. This is the best show in the known universe. With that, I'd like to welcome everybody listening around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. Please come over to, right now, come over to Twitter, at JChurch Radio. Hashtag DMRadioNet. That's what you want to do. Let's get the show cracking. Today, frontman Dave Grohl, 46 years old, lives right down the street. LL Cool J, yeah, he made the cut, 47. LL is cool. And I tweeted, or I think I did tweet this. I certainly Facebooked it a couple of times. Guitarist Zach Wild, 48 years old. Hey, how do I let me see if I can do this. I'm going to do this really quick. Let me see if I can pull this off. I'm going to do this while I never do this live on the show, but I'm going to do this live. I'm going to tweet in real time. Let me go to here. Boom, boom, boom. And let me find this photograph. And where is it? Where is it? Let me see here. Jimmy with... Oh, I don't see it. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Boom. Boom. You ready? Happy birthday, Zach. There you go. Tweet. Done. Hashtag DM Radio Nets. And that's how we do this, pretty much. Okay. I will never do this again. I'm totally uncomfortable with typing and talking at the same time. There you go. There's a pic of me and Zach Wild in his studio. Happy birthday, Zach. Zach is 46 years old. He says he is 46 years old. I'm not buying it. Oh, actually, he's 48. Also, today, drummer Steve Jordan is 58 years old. Steve, an amazing drummer. He was the drummer in Blues Brothers. You remember the movie. And he was also the drummer for David Letterman before Anton Fig came in and took the gig. And also today, George Clooney's director, Steve... Did I just say that? Steven Soderbergh is 52. Soderbergh directed K Street, a bunch of episodes. That was a great... I think that was on Showtime, HBO. Great series. He also did both a Che Guevara movie, Che 1, Che 2, all the ocean stuff. He did Traffic. But also, why does he make the cut? Solaris. He directed Solaris. Great science fiction film. Hey, that'd be a good one. That Jimmy can't walk and chew gum. I can't. Oh, that was some bad radio. That's the way it goes. All right. Twitter. Let's light this up really quick. When you think of Dave Grohl, do you think of the drummer of Nirvana? Or do you think of the Foo Fighters? Or do you think about his epic rock and roll scream? Because it is all rock and roll. What do you think? When you think of Dave Grohl, is he the drummer? Plan 9 from Outer Space. Good call. Good call. We can do that. Or Foo Fighters. What do you think of when you think of Grohl now, today? Got to get him on the show. Him and Taylor Hawkins. Okay, follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. At JChurchRadio. Get your tweet deck going. Hashtag DM RadioNet. Go now. Follow, like, and subscribe. You can do everything that you need to do over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Tonight, we have director Jose Escamilla on with us. Tomorrow night, Fader Night, taking your calls, open lines all evening. We're going to be hanging out with Jose all night tonight. I will open up the phone lines, 323-825-5045. You can email throughout the show. You know what to do. Jimmy at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Yeah, any guests that you maybe want to hear, comments about the show, about the fact that I need to lose some weight and I eat way too much In-N-Out Burger. Oh, hey, did everybody see? If you go over, like our Facebook page and go over and check it out, I posted a video of Anthony Bourdain at In-N-Out Burger. And I believe it's the In-N-Out at LAX. You can tell. It's a great video. And if you haven't seen it, somebody throw that up on Twitter real quick. All right. Email throughout the show. You can also go over to jimmychurchradio.com, go to the contact page where we use non-NSA, specially encrypted servers, if you're chicken. But you got to make it good. Get it past the producers. Let's get to some email real quick before we get to the news. Email from Ben Miller. Haven't heard from Ben in a while. He says, have you been to the Nickel Diner in L.A.? The food show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, featured them on a show and showed one of their desserts as donuts dipped in crumbled bacon. Yeah. How about trying them out and report back to us? They're located at 524 South Main Street in downtown L.A. I didn't know, and this is what he says, I didn't know that L.A. had a Main Street. Oh, yeah, right downtown, Maine. Runs north and south. Another email from Renee. This was about last night's show. She says, there are now 6,000 petition signatures on the White House site to declare October 21st as National Back to the Future Day. But there's only 8,000 for disclosure. She says, come on, people. Let's get serious about this. I live in a nation of doofuses. All right, if you go to jimmychurchradio.com, we had Stephen Bassett on the show last night, and I told him that we would get everything up on jimmychurchradio.com for the petition. If you go right now to jimmychurchradio.com, scroll down right at the top of everything on the homepage, Disclosure Petition 7, congressional hearings, all the links, instructions that you need to know are right there. Please go and get this done. We have to get to 100,000 signatures. We are going to do it, but we can't do it without your help. Go to jimmychurchradio.com right now, sign it, click, do what you got to do. We are all busy. We all have busy lives. I get that. Take 3 minutes out of your day. Drink one less latte. I did. This is Fade to Black. Only on the Dark Matter Radio Network, bespoke radio for the masses. Brought to you by truthfunders.com. Follow us on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. Shoot me an email to jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Tonight, Jose Escamilla, filmmaker, director, Moonhoax guy. He'll be with us all night. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church Fade to Black on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I got to tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. Doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444, or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
On the Dark Matter Radio Network.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, bespoke radio for the masses. Only on the Dark Matter Radio Network. Hey, whoa. Check out the Twitter feed. Dan Zukowski just said the link is incorrect on the petition. Double check it on the site. Get a hold of Method. Let's get that fixed. All right, let's go. Let's get this cracking. The news that you know nothing about. Well, if you were anywhere on planet Earth today, you heard that the FBI has arrested an Ohio man who was allegedly plotting to attack the U.S. Capitol. According to a complaint filed today in Ohio, Christopher Lee Cornell, 20, came to the FBI's attention several months ago for alarming social media post in which he talked about his support for violent jihad, according to the criminal complaint. He allegedly wrote under the alias Rahil Mahrous Ubdaya. The FBI engaged in an undercover operation with the help of a person who began cooperating in exchange for favorable treatment on his criminal exposure on an unrelated case, which is normally how it goes. Some reliable informant. Cornell allegedly told the source that he had been in contact with persons overseas and that person had aligned himself with ISIS. According to the complaint, Cornell wrote, I'm quoting, I believe that we should just wage jihad under our own orders and plan attacks and everything. I believe we should meet up and make our own group in alliance with the Islamic State here and plan operations ourselves. Didn't take long, did it? What was I just talking about the other night with Sean Stone, Dean Ryan? It would only take a couple of days. If I was a betting man, what did Dean say? I mean, it's funny. It didn't take long. Oh, man. Well, there'll be something else tomorrow. We'll find out. UFO watchers are looking for anyone. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the picture from the video, from the feed, is pretty crazy, pretty extraordinary. And it looks Battlestar Galactic-ish, in my opinion. Wow, that's a way to get educated right there. Say that 5 times. Because of NASA's live feed that was being tracked of the International Space Station on January 6th. According to Disclosed.tv, veteran UFO hunter Toby Lund spotted what he determined was an unidentified flying object just outside the space station as he was monitoring the live feed on his laptop. Now, I posted today both pictures. I'll see what I can do during the commercial break. I'll see if I can go back and grab those. Whoa, you can do that too as well. And put those up. Pretty interesting. I don't know if it's a part of the space station that just looks a little funky, but it looks Battlestar Galactic-ish. It's nutty. In a text message conversation with Blake over at Disclosed.tv, Lund said that he was sending a couple of screenshots that he took from the live feed before it was interrupted after about 10 to 15 seconds. According to his text messages, he has found through persistent viewing that there are always some UFOs showing up. Likewise, he said NASA always cuts the feed when a huge UFO gets close to the station. UFO watchers claim to see some object outside the space station during an October 7th spacewalk, and I saw those videos too as well, by astronauts Reed Weissman and Alexander Gerst. NASA will not return a call for comment. Yeah, there we go. We're surprised. Have you guys seen, I posted this on, I didn't post it, somebody else did, on the Jimmy Church Radio Facebook page today. There are new, and I'm not joking here, new kickin' chicken taco flavored Pringles are popping up at Myers in the Midwest. We don't have Myers out here on the West Coast. Just have them out there. There's one next to my parents' house. Place is huge. But they are apparently part of a new food truck collection. Food truck. A taco truck. Food truck. Pringles is doing its best to keep up with the times and the American appreciation for food on wheels, with the introduction of flavors apparently meant to emulate something straight from your neighborhood food truck. And the other flavor, are you sitting down? Cheeseburger. No bacon. A day after Google publicized a flaw in its Windows 8.1, before Microsoft could do anything about it, news broke about a security vulnerability in Android that Google, they're not going to fix it. Todd Beardsley, an analyst from Rapid7, a security data and analytics firm, found a serious bug in the WebView component of Android 4.3 and below. Now, it's an older version of Android, not much, that potentially opens up affected phones to malicious hackers. Android 4.4 and 5.0, which I have, are unaffected by the bug. But I immediately checked today after finding this out. But 60% of Android users, that's close to 1 billion people, still use Android 4.3 or lower. It still affects an awful lot of people, 1 billion. Unfortunately, Google will not fix it. They are leaving it up to OEMs and manufacturers to put a patch on it, a Band-Aid. SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft successfully docked with the International Space Station on the 12th, 2 days ago, and astronauts will be unloading more than 5,000 pounds of cargo brought up for NASA and other space agencies over the next month. Beyond the supplies, the Christmas presents, and replacement equipment that astronauts have been waiting for patiently, there were a few unusual items that the Dragon took up. According to the NASA fact sheet, on the bill of lading was salmonella and fruit flies. That's right. After its site went viral online, an Australian startup known as shipyourенemiesglitter.com, that's right, we send glitter to the people you hate, end quote, is swamped with demand and has temporarily suspended orders. The service company provides, that's right, listen to this, for $9.99 Australian, $8.14 US, it will send an envelope filled with glitter and a note for good measure to any address. When the oblivious victim pulls the note from the envelope, that's right, they are bombed with glitter. The site, don't even think about it. The site spread in typical internet fashion and went viral on January 13th, yesterday. First came to the attention on Twitter, then Reddit, and then it went nuts. ShipYourEnemiesGlitter.com shut down for several hours yesterday. The site is back up and running, but the company has stopped taking orders to catch up with the volume. ShipYourEnemiesGlitter.com. The world's oceans are now rising far faster than they did in the past, a new study says. Today, the study found that for much of the 20th century until about 1990, sea level was about 30% less than earlier research had figured. But that's not the good news, because about 25 years ago, the sea started rising faster, and the acceleration started in 1990 turns out to be more dramatic than previously calculated. The current sea level rise rate, which started in 1990, is 2.5 times faster than it was from 1900 to 1990. That's right, according to the study that was published yesterday in the journal Nature. Scientists say that the faster pace of sea level rise is from melting ice sheets in Greenland and West Antarctica and shrinking glaciers triggered by man-made global warming. Earlier this week, I read another report that said, and I'm not joking, that said that the Earth's temperature has not risen in 18 years. Now, what do you believe? What do you believe? They both can't be right, can they? Tonight, Jose Escamilla at the bottom of the hour in 2 minutes. Tomorrow night, Fader Night. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Bespoke radio for the masses. Do not touch that mouse. I'll be back right after this. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Shoot me an email to Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
Dark matter.
Dark Matter. Dark Matter. Dark Matter. Dark Matter.
You're listening to Fade to Black
on the Dark Matter Radio Network.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carzan, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Shoot me an email right now to Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. You got any questions for Jose? Hashtag F2BQ. You can also pop something off direct in Twitter. I'll catch it. Just make it good. Get it past the producers here. I'm looking over on Twitter right now. Bob just sent out the screenshot of this crazy thing by the International Space Station. Check it out. You know what? I got to retweet that real quick. Oh, I just got to do this. All right. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Jose Escamilla has been involved in the research and investigations of an aerial phenomenon he discovered in 1994 called the rods. His expertise as a film and video editor over 30 years has made him a world-renowned figure in the world of UFOs, rods, the moon, and the paranormal. His film, UFO, The Greatest Story Ever Denied, has gained international acclaim as the best documentary film ever made on UFOs. Kevin Smith, director of Clerks and Dogma, one of our favorites here at Fade to Black, says UFO is the loose change of UFO documentaries. Known for his highly controversial films, Jose Escamilla has lectured at conferences in the UK, Mexico, and the U.S. His films, Rods, Mysterious Objects Among Us, Rods, The Smoking Gun Evidence, UFO, The Greatest Story Ever Denied, UFO, The Greatest Story Ever Denied 2, Moon Rising. It's got Mike Barry in it. Luna, and his latest documentary is called Celestial. I would like to welcome to the program Jose Escamilla. Hello, Jose. How are you tonight?
Hello, Jimmy. This is fantastic. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Yeah, and thank you, Jose. And listen, really quick, the location of our studio is top secret. This is the bunker. Okay, so without disclosing that, which you found out today, we found out today that you and I are neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, and you should be here in the bunker right now.
I know. We're going to have to do a reprisal show, a reprise, as they call it, and when I release the film, and I can walk the dog to your studio for crying out loud.
I know, man. Oh, I see some hanging out in our near future. So
absolutely.
It was so funny when I called you today, or you called me first, and then I was calling you back. I'm looking at that. I'm like, wait a minute. Dude is close. He is real close.
It is.
It was too funny.
That is too funny.
Yeah. So with that, welcome to the program. And without acting like a fanboy, which I have been of yours for years, so I'll try to be as objective and, I'll try to be the cool guy tonight. But I'm really excited to get you on. I'm a big fan of your stuff. I've already told you before the program, I've seen all your stuff. And today you made sure that I saw the one that I hadn't seen, and I watched the entire thing, including Mike Barra and that haircut of his, that 2009 vintage Mike Barra. He did great. How did you? I want to start off there. Actually, how did you and Mike hook up for the film?
Well, I did a conference. I've known Mike off and on over the years. We're in the same, I guess you could call it the same business. The UFO conferences and things of that nature. And, Mike and I are party animals, man. So we did a presentation, I think it was in Santa Barbara or San Jose, one of those conferences, and we hung out and, chasing chicks, or scanning the chicks, the kind, what can you say?
Yeah.
We love to hang out with women and party and things of that nature. So Mike and I became pretty close, and I said, man, I'm fixing to do this movie called Moon Rising, and you're hooked up with Hoagland, man. How would you like to be in the film? And right away, man, he says, no sweat, I'll be there. As a matter of fact, he's going to be in my new film, the latest film that I'm producing, which got funded, Jimmy. We actually got funded. All right. I mean, it's not a huge amount of money, but we got funding for UFOs from Outer Space, which is part 3 of my UFO, The Greatest Story Ever Denied series. This is the 3rd installment. And I want to say hey to our executive producer, Dushitsa Dimitru, out of Canada, for kindly coming forth this past December and providing the funding we've needed to get this movie finished. Man, I've been producing this film for 2 years. I mean, it's 80% done. All I need now is to interview myself, Sean Stone, who is Oliver Stone's son.
Sure.
He's narrating the film and doing on-camera appearances. And I'm interviewing Martin Stubbs and Kerry Martinek and Jaime Maussan. I've asked Laura Eisenhower to be on it, and Mike Barra, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady just came forth and provided the funding that I've needed for 2 years to get this movie finished, man. And I'm telling you, the stuff that you were talking about, the International Space Station and footage from outer space.
Right.
This film is entirely about that. It's totally entirely about UFO footage and photography taken by NASA and other space agencies since the 1950s.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, NASA has been, the early X-15 flights?
Yep.
You had the guys with the right stuff. They were, piloting these X-15 craft in, lower orbit.
Basically a bullet that you're just strapping yourself onto.
Exactly. Well, their missions were not only to break speed barriers and hypersonic speeds and everything else, but their missions were to to film and photograph UFOs in space. And this is like the 1950s.
Interesting.
And we have the footage.
You know what's funny about the X-15? When I was growing up, when I was a kid, everybody was in love in the 60s with the mystery of the SR-71 and the YF-12A. Me, I was an X-15 kid.
Me too.
That was that and the Starfighter. I thought that was a really cool plane too. Very, very, very similar in their designs. But the X-15, and then when I finally saw one, I believe it was in Seattle. I think it's where I saw the X-15 in person. I couldn't believe how small it was.
They had one in Roswell, New Mexico. Roswell is my hometown.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And my dad used to work at Roswell. He was a former airman, Air Force guy, and he. When he retired, he got a job doing electronic stuff at the air base there, and they had air shows, all right? And they had an X-15 there, and I'll never forget, my dad took me to see it. I was like about 11,
Right.
And it was just an awesome experience because I always dug the look of it, and, it was just a real cool thing back in the days, man. So I was excited to have seen it live. And this movie, I'm telling you right now, this is going to break all records because we don't have any films out there that are specifically about, films taken in space, not only by the shuttles, but in deep space and then farther deep space.
Well, the way that you treat stuff and the way, I don't know how how your eye happens to catch certain things in a frame, but you do. You see things, and I've watched your stuff over the years, and I'm looking, and I see you'll make a comment. Now, here we are. We're looking at the crater, and over in the background, you'll see, and I'm like, dude, I don't see it. I don't. Oh, there. I don't know how you what kind of gift is this? And do you? And I'm serious too. I'm not playing around. But are you blowing up the photographs, and are you just scanning across slowly and just looking for stuff, or does it just stick out, without blowing it up? How do you happen to catch this stuff?
Well, one of the instances is the Lobachevsky crater that has that huge 10-mile wide, 6-mile high structure that was built within an 8-month period.
Right. And that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, because when you first, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, but that's a good example, because when you show that image and you give the NASA numbers and so forth, go look at it, and you flip it over. That's the one you flipped, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you flip it over, and I'm like, okay, Jose, where are you going with this? Did I just say, okay, Jose? And I'm like, well, I don't, and then it is so obvious once you point it out.
Right.
So was that an example of you just happen to see that?
Well, that particular photo had been around the internet for a few years before I started checking it out. I mean, it was on the internet. They were calling it a crashed spaceship. And I got the numbers to it and got the original print, which, as you said, it was upside down. I had to turn it right side up. It was all washed out. They brought up the brightness on it so you could not distinguish anything. And then it was a full-color photo, so I color corrected it, brought the contrast in, and then, this thing starts coming to shape, and then, wow, there it is, this huge structure. But I had been looking at that thing, gosh, since 2009, since I did Moon Rising. I'd been looking at that photo all these years, and it wasn't until I started doing Celestial in 2012 that I looked at it and I go, hey, wait a minute, what is this over here? And that's where I discovered this huge, it appears to be a spacecraft that's 20 miles long, okay, 20 miles long, sitting on the top of this crater called Guyot, G-U-Y-O-T. And I looked at it. I'd never noticed it before. All these years I'd been looking at the same photo over and over again. And here I found this thing that looks like a fish or a reptile head with two fins towards the tail end. And I did a measurement by spanning it across the crater, which is like 52 miles in diameter. And it takes 4 of these to fit in there. So it's about 20 miles long, this thing. And who knows what kind of thing piloted this thing, And that's, it's just, the things are right there hiding in plain sight for you. You just have to seek things out. That was by accident that I saw that I caught that.
With the addition of color, and we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here, but with the addition of color, it really stands out. I'm having our producers do that now. Oh, okay. Let's back up a step. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and scroll down to Jose. Click on Read More. That'll take you to Jose's page on jimmychurchradio.com. There's a gallery right there. We are looking at picture number 7. Because when you look at it, when you adjust it for color, it just sits. It looks. I mean, I hate to have my eyes play on me, but it looks like a wraparound windshield. It looks like some massive, and I'm going to say it twice in the same show, Battlestar Galactic-ish type of craft. That's an amazing picture. I don't see, and again, when you look at the full size, I can see how it escaped NASA. They didn't blur it out. They let this one slip through the cracks. Yeah,
or somebody allowed it to slip through the cracks.
Right.
We do have people that work at NASA and the JPL, the Department of Defense, and other areas that are leaking stuff out, And guys like me, Mike Berra and Hoagland, we're getting this stuff, It gets sent to us anonymously, and we go, holy moly, look at this thing. I mean, You know, and it's exciting to be part of this area of discovery, because you have to realize we are at the very edge of discovering new things on the moon alone, you know, notwithstanding stuff that's on Mars. I mean, my gosh, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out in full color, you know, discovered on Mars. And as you're going to see in UFOs from Outer Space, there are things in space that are just literally out of this world, you know.
Do you think when it comes to leaking stuff, you know, it's a way of disinfo. Disinfo, some of it is true, some of it's not, but they leak it to maybe find out who the leaker is. You know, and do you find that maybe sometimes stuff stops getting leaked from that source because they got caught leaking in the first place?
Well, the thing about it is I never know who that source is.
Right.
And it could be the same source twice, or it could be two different sources. You know, that's the whole thing about these people that are there that are saying, man, this has to go out, man. This is off the wall, you know. And we just never know who it is or who it was. But I guarantee you, a lot of the things that I'm getting, and there's some new stuff that I'm putting out on UFOs from Outer Space that's incredible. I never even fathomed something like this developing or existing in space.
Right.
I mean, some incredible things. I won't mention it. You got to see the movie when it comes out, but I guarantee you.
I'm going to see the movie this weekend because I'm coming over to the pad, and you're going to show it to me.
Oh, I will show you something. It's going to chill you, man. I mean, really, just totally amazing stuff. What's out there?
Let's back up a little bit. When all of this started for you, that's a weird career path. In other words, you're here in Hollywood, man. You're right here, Burbank.
Yeah,
you can go get any gig that you want. You can live a nice life and cruise to the sunset and retire. There's a big need for directors and assistant directors and camera guys and good editors and special effects. All the jobs you ever want are right here, and it pays nice.
Yes.
But you're doing this. Why?
Well, interesting you might ask. For 35 years, going on 35 years now, I've been a film and video editor, producer, director, and all that, but I've primarily been a film editor. And my biggest dream was to work in Hollywood as a film composer, to make music for movies. Well, I got this job in 1990 on a film called Wolf Ridge, and it stars Wes Studi, all right? You know who he is. He's the mean Indian man in Dances with Wolves and all these films, and he's a good friend of mine. We became friends working on this movie. And it was my first film that I was editing and did the music score for, okay? And it was a film produced by Jack Chrysler of the Chrysler family, and Michael Mann was Wes Studi's manager at that time. So I was in good company. My brother and I, we were music composers for films now. This was the first movie. And in 1994... I was sitting there making notes to do the layback of music and everything else to picture when the Northridge earthquake hit. Boom, man. It was like, wow. So it took me 2 days to finish cutting the movie. I had to do it on the sly at the different optical houses. And we wound up having a movie premiere in Santa Fe that week on Thursday. Okay, there was a planned movie premiere in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So the Northridge earthquake, I mean, we arrived in Santa Fe full of soot and dirty. I mean, we hadn't bathed. I mean, we had no water, no running water. So we get there, and we did the premiere in Santa Fe on Thursday. Friday we did Albuquerque. And then Saturday I said, you know what, Manny, my brother? I said, let's go to Roswell and hang out with our sister Becky and Mom and the kids and just shake off the heebie-jeebies, man, from the earth shakes and the tremors.
Right.
So we go to Roswell, and here it is now, a month later, or 2 months later, it's March 5th, 1994, and I'm working on a TV commercial for the local UFO museum, the UFO Enigma Museum. I went down through downtown Roswell filming UFO that travels through Roswell and crash lands in the side of the building at the UFO Enigma Museum, which was located right outside the airbase. Well, I get a call from my sister, and she says, Jose, bring the video camera. There's UFOs out here.
Oh, really? In 1994? Okay.
Yeah, Saturday, March 5th, 1994. And it was close to 1:30, and I go, yeah, whatever. Probably Mom wanted me to go out and, eat lunch there or something. But I took my time getting there. I got there by 2 o'clock, and she says, hurry, man, look. So I look in the sky, and right at 12 o'clock high, man, there was this dome-shaped object just hovering there, just sitting there, moving ever so slightly. And I go, Becky, that's a weather balloon, all right? And as soon as I said that, this thing just darted off to the left and then did a perfect 45-degree turn and then came back to where it was. That's when I said, no, that's not a weather balloon, and I started filming at that point in time. And I filmed 16 minutes of UFO footage, and it was just basically zooming in and out of this object. At one time, a white jet came over towards it. It disappeared and appeared in another part of the sky. We got this all on video. And the battery ran out. I took the video to the house in Roswell. It was my sister's house, where I had a little edit bay set up, and started looking at this footage. And I didn't see anything else but this big UFO that was there. And it was an incredible-looking object, man. But I started seeing flashes. Okay, and I go, well, wait a minute, what's that? So I'd rewind, and I go frame by frame, and these flashes were other UFOs that were appearing. They were just so fast that they only lasted like, a 30th of a second. And that's how I started saying, wow, this is how you catch UFOs on video. They are super fast, and you catch them sometimes in the fields or sometimes in regular frames, but they are so fast, they are spinning through this, these scenes. I found close to about 140 different types of UFOs in 16 minutes of footage.
And that was your first foray into the rods.
First time filming UFOs and rods.
Right.
Okay, exactly. And look at this. I didn't know how to film UFOs in those days. I thought it was going to be like, Spielberg and John Williams music and these big grandeur UFOs flying in and out of the scenes. And no, man, they're super fast. And this is the way you spot UFOs. They are fast, man. And I'm talking within a split second, a UFO will pass by, you won't even see it.
With let's visit the rods for a little bit. I've had and then we'll move on. I've had a bunch of tweets about it already. I'm still on the fence with the rods. Mm-hmm. And I'm only on the fence because I have to approach, because it's so phenomenal, you have to approach it with a skeptical mind, because it is pretty extraordinary. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to be straight. Are some of the rods insects, and did you have to figure out a way to differentiate between what could be something large in the background and an intelligently driven controlled craft, and something that could be an insect or something else?
Well, when we first started filming the rods, first of all, we were filming at a high shutter setting, which means that if you throw a baseball in front of the camera and you use my sky fishing protocol, which I developed for filming rods and UFOs,
mm-hmm.
If you throw a baseball at 80 miles an hour and then you go frame by frame, that baseball is going to be looking like a baseball. Okay?
Right.
So if you film, and most people do this, if you film using the auto mode, or say, for example, you buy a new camcorder, take it out of the box. You don't want to go through settings and stuff like that, Rigor, man.
I never do.
Start filming.
No, I'm automatic.
Never do.
Right.
So they start filming, and it's all on autofocus and all that. And they're catching stuff, anything that goes by real fast is going to be an elongated blur, because the shutter setting is not set correctly. It's set at auto shutter, which is about 1/250 to 1/1000th of a second. Okay? And that's standard out of the box, all right? My sky fishing protocol, we were shooting at 1/5000, 1/10,000 shutter setting, which eliminates any kind of a blurring effect. Okay? And a lot of stuff has happened over the years because Monster Quest did a show on me, and they cheated the public, man. They did a travesty pertaining to the rods. First of all, they started saying, well, we think that hummingbirds are the closest thing to a rod, so we're going to set up in broad daylight a high-speed camera and a camcorder and film hummingbirds and see what the results are.
I saw that episode. They they try to recreate somebody's image or video.
Well, what they did, though, is they lied to the people. What happened was a hummingbird did not show up, so therefore that daytime test was eliminated.
Gotcha.
Which, if they would have told me they were going to do the test, I would have said, here's where you go to catch rods. Let's do it the right way. We'll set a camera up with my sky fishing protocol. We'll set a camera with autofocus, auto normal, and then we'll set the high-speed camera. You'll see what the results will be. The sky fishing protocol camera will be identical to the high-speed camera. You can't fake it, man. But what they did, and they fooled the people, man. They fooled the American viewing audience. And I'm talking about millions of people that saw this show and are still seeing it and still believing their crap. They did the nighttime test, which they knew that shooting a camcorder at night compromises the integrity of the imagery. And anything that you put in front of it, whether you put your hand in front of the lens real slow, it's going to blur because you're compromising the integrity of the camera's image. All right? The high-speed camera, it'll film in high speed, because that's the way it's designed. But the camcorder everything will be elongated. And so they shook the weeds, and there was these moths and things that flew off. And of course, they're all going to be blurred, elongated things, But my sky fishing protocol I developed in 1995, and it eliminates all of the above. A bird is a bird, an insect is an insect, and a rod is a rod. But here's the trick, man. I've waited all these years for technology to advance enough to where we would catch a rod that would undeniably be
a rod
and not debunked as an interlaced video effect or a blurred insect. We have rod footage right now shot at 2,000 frames per second using the red cam. Do you know what the red cam is?
No, I don't, but I'm about to be educated.
It's the highest resolution camera in the world.
Okay.
It shoots 4K video. That means it's IMAX quality. It's the highest resolution. Films are being shot with this. And at 2,000 frames per second, 24 FPS, 2,000 frames per second is the speed which allows you to capture a bullet in mid-flight. And we now have a rod captured at 2,000 frames per second using the red cam at 24p. That means no interlacing. Debunkers can't say, well, that's an artifact of the interlacing, blah, blah, blah. No, man. This is a rod, baby.
Okay. So
and guess what?
What is it? What do you see?
It's a rod, like they've always appeared, man. And there's no denying. I mean, this camera, I'm telling you, when I make my movie, They Live in the Skies, which is going to be the final, I don't even know if it's going to be a half-hour film, 45 minutes in length. It doesn't matter. We finally have the proof that I've always waited.
Mm-hmm.
Short of capturing one, we have the solid evidence that these things are real.
Now, how far away is it, and how large do you think the rod is?
This rod is about 8 feet long, and it's above a rock and roll band that's standing on top of a hill in a music video shot in the UK. And this rod goes through the scene extremely fast in super slow motion. I mean, it's very fast, but it's a rod. There's nothing else it could be. It can't be a bird.
Right.
Too far away.
Right.
It can't be an insect close to the lens, because here's another thing that the debunkers never tell people. Any insect that's real close to the lens will be blurred. It'll be translucent. You can't catch it because depending on the focus of the lens where you're filming, everything else is in the background in clear focus. If if an insect is real close to the lens, it's going to appear as a round, blurry, translucent thing. It's not going to be an insect at all.
Right. Well, you know what freaked me out the most about the rods when I first started seeing your stuff was that these are interdimensional beings that are around us all the time. and we can't see them. And it kind of freaked me out because...
Well, I used to think they were interdimensional. A lot of people used to say that. But then I was doing tests. I mean, we filmed insects, we filmed birds to look at the behavioral flights of these things, okay? Insects, even if they are misfilmed insects and blurred and all that, there's a certain characteristic of their flight. It's a stamp that explains, look, that is a misfilmed insect posing as a rod. Number one, they're really long, extremely too long. You see the appendages, the little wing flaps and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the signature of insect photography. The signature of bird photography, you can definitely tell what the bird looks like. Dragonflies, we now have dragonflies shot at high speed. And then we have rods shot at high speed. They all have different patterns of flight, different signature patterns, okay? And this eliminates a lot of this stuff, man. I mean, you can call it a distortion of the imagery and everything else till you're blue in the face, but we now have a rod shot that is undeniable. It's shot in the highest resolution ever, and at a super slow motion, it's undeniable. You cannot debunk it. There's no way.
What do you think? What do you think they are? If they're not interdimensional beings, are you saying they're craft of some kind? What?
No, they are. They appear to be a living entity of some kind. We have them filmed by the space shuttles in outer space using ultraviolet cameras, which film in the ultraviolet spectrum of light, totally invisible. We have rods shot on Mars. Okay?
Well, I feel a lot better now that you say that you think it's a living being, because if those are craft of some kind, it's really going to freak me out. I'm going to lose some sleep.
Yeah, I'm seeing in your chat room areas, they're showing a lot of insect stuff that, rods were debunked 10 years ago. No, they haven't been debunked. They've never been explained away as to what they are not.
Yeah, and our audience is very smart. They're always going to go and pull up and show examples of one or the other. Absolutely.
And that's fine. I welcome that. But I tell you what, when they see they live in the skies, this is going to eliminate all this crap about insects. Believe me, there's no one in the world that can explain away this rod shot that we have, shot at 2,000 frames per second, at 24p, at 4K resolution, which is the highest resolution ever on cameras, man.
I'm going to come see it this weekend. You're going to show it to me. I'll talk about it on Monday.
I'll show it to you, man.
This is Fade to Black on the Dark Matter Radio Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We're talking with director Jose Escamilla. We were just talking about rods. That's what kind of broke you. Well, that was what broke you into this. And that was, were you prepared for the sensation that the rods were going to cause in ufology? I mean, for a couple of years there, that was what everybody was talking about.
Oh, I'll tell you what, man. Art Bell was the one that broke the story on rods. And I remember I was in a hotel in California visiting people. And actually, I was there to do sightings TV show. And I was in a hotel, and Art Bell contacted me. And he says, man, what are these rods? And he's the one that broke the story, And this was back in 1990, I think it was 95, yeah. And, boy, it just went head over heels, man. I mean, my Roswell Rods website, roswellrods.com website, at one time had over 50 million hits.
I was one of them.
All over the world.
Yeah, I was one of them. I was right there.
But I tell you what hurt me a lot was the Monster Quest TV show. That hurt me, man. I mean, people believed them more than they believed me. They took it, to heart that rods are nothing but insects. It's been debunked. This is all they are. And even Joe Rogan, I'm a big fan of UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships.
Yep.
And I was in Las Vegas a couple of years ago, and I went there to see Joe Rogan to show him footage that we have now of an underwater rod. And I'm telling you, this underwater footage of rods is incredible, too, in itself. And I didn't film it, but it was filmed by accident. And it's a rod, man. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And it's underwater, okay? And I went over to see Joe Rogan, and he embarrassed me in front of about 500 people. he says, "Oh, you're the guy with the rods, man. The Roswell rods." Says, "Well, things didn't go too good for you, did they?" And he just started ridiculing me, talking about how Monster Quest proved that they were nothing but insects. But Monster Quest lied. So I have a video up there, people. I have a video up in my YouTube channel called Jose Escamilla versus Monster Quest, and you're going to see how, if you believe Monster Quest, how you were fooled.
All right. You know what? In about 5 seconds, somebody will post that on Twitter.
Good.
So,
Please do.
Yeah,
Please
absolutely. I'll retweet it. We'll get it out there. Now, one of my favorite subjects is Apollo and the entire program, going back to Kennedy all the way through Apollo 17 and maybe 18. Who knows? Maybe 22. So I'm going to ask you a couple of direct questions because we're going to spend a lot of time on this.
Yeah.
You kind of do both sides of the fence. In other words, you show and comment on the photographs that were taken on the moon. And so there's that side of it, and that objects were filmed up there. And then, but also you allude to we were never there and everything was shot here on Earth. By the way, that part of your documentary is incredible. The bombs blowing up, the craters that were created in the desert, and the plaster cast. I don't know where you got those photographs and how they did all of that, but that was pretty cool. So you kind of do both. Do you think that we actually went to the moon?
Yes, I do, but I don't think we went in that Apollo capsule. Okay?
Explain.
I think that there was a secret space program, a secret space agency that actually sent astronauts up there and did a lot of photography and reconnaissance of the moon. Or there was just reconnaissance, and the rest was done in the studio with the astronauts in the suits. I mean, it's two ways that you can go to it, man. I mean, we will never know, won't we? I mean, all I can do is say, well, it could be a possibility that we did, make it to the moon, and those crude Apollo capsules, and I'm talking very crude, man. They were made out of cardboard, basically, and passing the Van Allen belt. Forget it, man. I'll tell you something. Let me qualify what I'm saying here. When I started making UFO, The Greatest Story Ever Denied, my first film of the series, I had to do a segment on the moon stuff because, astronauts saw UFOs on the moon, and there was footage and photography and blah, blah, blah. Well, I came to find out that 90%, or perhaps even 98%, of the Apollo photographs have been doctored, have been tampered with. And I started asking the question, why? If these are authentic photographs, then why did they eliminate some of the stuff in the background? So that tells me that there was something there they were hiding from us. And if we went there with the Apollo capsules, which I don't think we did, I think there was a spaceship that took the astronauts there, and they did some photography and filming there, but it was not the Apollo. Point in being that I saw recently, and I wish I would have downloaded this video, but I saw an astronaut talking about the new spaceship that's going to go to the moon, okay? And he's talking there, and he says, we finally fixed the Van Allen belt controversy, so now we can actually go to the moon. And this guy says that, the guy at NASA.
Have you ever seen, let's talk about this for a second. Have you ever seen an Apollo capsule in person?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I have at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. And when you go up to that capsule and you look at, first off, it's about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, right? It's tiny.
That's what I imagine.
It is small. And then you look inside of it and you look at those seats and you look inside of it and you just think to yourself, there's no way somebody spent 2 weeks, 3 dudes spent 2 weeks in this thing.
Yeah.
No. You'd be dead. You would just die. If claustrophobia and insanity didn't kill you, the body odor would. So.
Well, yeah, and God, I wish I would have downloaded this video. And it was NASA bragging about their new technology and their new spaceship that they're going to send to the moon at the cost of 20 or 30 billion or 100 billion, whatever. And you have this guy who's a spokesman, astronaut guy that says, yes, and we finally have mastered, getting through Van Allen belt, so we can now go to the moon. And he says it as a matter of fact, like, okay, so all these years, they had never mastered the ability to get through the Van Allen belt, the radiation belt. So how in the world did that little Volkswagen, as you say, go get these astronauts through the Van Allen belt when it was like impossible, man?
Yeah,
it wasn't fried.
Well, let's do this. Let's have some fun. Let's suppose we went to the moon. Okay, so we went. But the question is, why haven't we gone back?
Exactly. And why is it going to cost so much? Why not just bring up one of the old capsules, put it on top of a ship, a rocket, and put them back up there if it went through in the first place? Why? I mean, if it was not broke, all right, then use the same capsule. What the heck, man?
Yeah, we got there just fine, didn't we?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, but no. And this, doggone it, I'm going to look for this video. I swear to gosh, I'm going to find it, Jimmy, and I'm going to put it up there. And it's this guy at NASA bragging about, we finally accomplished breaking through the Van Allen belt radiation belt. We can now finally go to the moon. And he's being very finite about it, man. He's being right there, man, in your face, telling how proud they are.
But why haven't we been back, Jose?
Well, for one thing, we never went there personally except through the secret space program, which Hoagland and Mike Barrett talk about, and I believe them. I believe that there is a certain space capsule that takes people to the moon in 90 minutes, all right, using alien technology that has been back engineered. And I believe that's the way we went to the moon. And any of the photography that they erase stuff from the background, that's original footage from taken on the moon. The other stuff, I don't know, man. You can fake anything in the studio.
Well, not only look, NASA said that, and our own government said there's nothing there. It's a dead. It's a dead object. Right.
A dead piece of rock.
Okay, there's nothing there for us. No big deal. We're moving on. But certainly every other country on planet Earth thinks that there's something important there because they're all racing each other to get there now.
Well, India, China, and Japan have spent billions of dollars going to the moon. All right? If there's nothing there, as NASA states, which I don't believe NASA as far as it's spit, man, but they spent billions of dollars to go there for what? Moon dust and rocks? Come on, man.
This is from Renee. She says, what is the single most surprising discovery you made over the years while doing your research in making your documentaries?
Research in what? Rods? The moon?
The single most surprising discovery that you've made.
Well, the number one discovery that I've made is that the moon is not black and white. It's a full-color celestial body. And I have to say, if this isn't one of the most world-breaking news item ever in the history of Earth, that the moon is a full-color celestial body, I don't know what is. I mean, the moon is not black and white. We perceive it as black and white. We've been spoon-fed the thought that it's in black and white. When China went there and they came back, they did a big unveiling of a flat map of the moon, which is the moon just flattened out, and the north and south poles. At the press conference, it was in full color. And then when it was released to the public, the photo was in black and white. So they've continued to perpetuate the lie that the moon is a black and white orb when it is not.
Yeah,
I have the evidence that it's a full-color celestial body. I mean, this is world-breaking news.
When I watched Celestial the first time, I was just stopped in my tracks. I mean, seriously, amazing film. And to see the colors, I don't understand why. Well, do you have a high-power telescope? Can you point it at the moon from?
Well, I'll give you a better option, man. I have a guy in Richmond, Texas.
Right.
That opens my movie, Celestial, and he's an old country boy from Richmond, Texas, and he's just a retired guy, and he's got his back porch is his observatory, and he was one of the guys that checked out my film Moon Rising, and he says, I'm going to check out and see if Escamilla is full of crap or if he's telling the truth here. I'm going to find a way to film the moon in full color from here on Earth. Okay? And he did. He found the sweet spot between a $68 webcam, a $1,200 Meade telescope, and he built a little attachment, and he's being able to film the moon in full color from here on Earth from his backyard porch observatory in Richmond, Texas. So this means that anyone in the world now, any astronomer, any astronomy student, has a way of looking at the moon in its full, glorious nature, in full color from here on Earth, where all the major observatories have not disclosed this to the American and the world public. Okay? You have to imagine, though, the observatories are funded by the Department of Defense, and NASA and all that. So if they tell the truth and say, hey, we've been looking at the moon in full color for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, it's an incredible sight. I mean, they will lose their careers, they will lose their observatories. So it's just a secret that's been held away from the public. I have brought it forward. Bill Bryson out of Richmond, Texas, has been filming the moon in full color for the last 2 years because of my film Moon Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone out there with a telescope, you follow Bill Bryson's lessons or whatever, tutorials, you'll be able to see the moon in full color from here on Earth.
How do you spell his last name?
Bryson.
Okay. I'll ask everybody on Twitter to get Bill's links up. I want to check this out.
By the way, BillBryson-astronomer.com was hacked. He had a great website going, and it was hacked so many times he quit putting his website up there. But he's the guy that discovered a way for anyone here on planet Earth to use a telescope, a regular telescope, and a $68 webcam, and film the moon in full color from here on Earth.
I'm looking at Walter just posted a picture of the moon in full color, right, in high res. You're probably looking at it yourself right now.
Walter's photo is a photo that's been done by some artist. It's not the full color of the moon. This is I can't explain it, but it's not the full color of the moon.
Okay,
Sorry.
well, so the ones that you sent me, which one do you want me to post first?
You mean the photos?
Yeah, of the pics of some of these color shots of the moon.
Those are some of the color photos of the moon and things that shows towers. Like the tower on the far side of the moon that's 8 miles high.
Okay, let's go to pic number 1, which is the Ramsden crater.
Okay.
Whoa, get that up in Twitter.
What's happening on Ramsden crater is you have a dome, a glass dome covering it. And if you look closely inside it, you can see greenery, Now, you have to imagine this crater is about 32 or 35 miles in diameter, I can't remember. But the sun is glistening off the northern, the 2 o'clock area of... over 10 o'clock position of the area of the dome, the sun is glistening off of it.
Keep going. I'm looking at it here. Okay, let me.
If you look closely inside, you can see greenery and other things. But that's a huge crater. Man, that's about 35 miles in diameter. It's not a small object at all.
I'm going to look at the high res that you sent me. Doppelmayr, Golden Arch.
Oh, Doppelmayr is an interesting thing.
Okay, I'm looking at... Oh, I see what you're saying now about Ramsden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
And it is green.
Yes.
And this...
Allison Bell just showed Bill Bryson's photo, man. You know, Bill Bryson's a dear friend of mine. Straight-up guy. He's a straight-up astronomer, amateur astronomer. As far as I'm concerned, he's a professional astronomer because he discovered a way to film the moon in full color from here on Earth through a regular telescope. And this should tell people, look, man, this is the new age. This is the new way of seeing the moon in all its glorious splendor, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, Allison, I'm going to retweet this now, but post the high res. Find a bigger one. I think you posted the thumbnail. But, wow, that's an incredible picture. When you look at Ramsden, there's obviously something green here. Now, as I look at this, have you enhanced it in any way, or is this the raw file?
I do a whole thing on it in Celestial, the film. In the film Celestial, I do a whole thing on it, a whole little segment. But no, I got to tell you, I look at these photos over and over again and find new things that I overlooked. It's just like you said, hey, I've looked at this photo, but wow, now what's this? Never noticed that,
Right.
Yeah.
Where? Okay, well,
Ramsden, by the way, it's a crater that's located in the front side of the moon, towards the lower right-hand area of the moon, down towards the south of the moon.
Okay. Now, where does the green come from?
We have no idea. There could be forests in there, or major golf courses, for all you know. I mean, really, but that's a big crater, dude.
That is obviously
that's a huge freaking crater.
There is something in there. Okay, let's. What is? Let's see. Picture number 2 is. Oh, is that on another file? I'm looking at your high-res versions here. I'm going to make everybody angry. They don't get to see the high res that I'm looking at. Let's see. Let me go back to the website. I hate doing this in real time. I should be more in control of myself than this. Okay. What is image number 2? 3 is Doppelmayr. Let's see.
Doppelmayr is very interesting.
I'm listening.
It has all these huge structures, geometrical structures that are inside the crater, and you can tell it's a dome, glass dome over it. But there is a tower in there that has the number 2 etched on it. And it's plain as day, man. You can see the tower, and it has the number 2 on it.
I'm looking at it right now.
Do you see the number 2 on the tower?
Hold on for a second here. Okay, where would... Oh, crap, right there.
It just snaps right out at you. It's undeniable.
Well, there's all kinds of things going on in this crater.
Yeah.
Okay, this is image number 3. We're looking at image number 3 on the website, and I think it's probably already gotten tweeted out. That's to the back of me. I can't see that computer from here. Okay, so inside of Doppelmayr, I'm looking at the number 2. If that's a photographic anomaly, some kind of weird...
No. It's a photo taken by NASA in 1994.
It's funny, when you reduce it down, I'm enlarging it. When you reduce it down, that 2 is as clear as day.
It's right there, undeniable, unmistakable.
What it looks like? There's something above the 2 and right below the 2. What do you think that is?
It's part of a tower, or maybe it's part of a roof, but it seems to be sticking straight up.
Yeah, it does look like it's going straight up.
Yeah, and when you compare that to the lay of the land of everything else in there, and there's a lot of buildings there. I mean, there's rooftops, there are pipelines. I mean, there's a lot of structures there that are not part of a geological thing, man. These things are artificial.
Right.
Now, check this out. to the lower right of that photo, there's a crater, and it's called Vitelli. This crater is called Vitelli, but you can tell that there's a canopy that has been broken, a glass canopy that's been broken right there. See the thick archway, and inside you can see things?
Okay, I'm looking in the lower right. Okay,
that big crater on the lower right, there appears to be a canopy over it that's been broken.
Okay, there's so many craters down there. Okay.
There's one big crater, man.
At the 5 o'clock position?
Yeah, I guess it'd be at the 5 o'clock position, yeah. You can't miss it. I mean, it's right there. And it appears to have an opening.
I can't. Oh, man. I just can't. Oh. See, I have the I have the photograph enlarged so much. I was looking in a different area. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So what is it?
To have a canopy that's been broken.
Yeah, there's something strange going on there too, and there's a lot going on in the middle of that.
There's a lot of stuff in there, man. But see, we have no evidence of anything that's been broken. NASA has not described anything. NASA has not said anything about these two craters. NASA has not divulged any information. In fact, NASA doesn't even acknowledge these craters in any of their archives, the photographic archives. They don't say anything about them. So the only person that's saying anything is me, man, saying, hey, what's this? I'm just asking questions. I'm just presenting the evidence as it presents itself.
What do you make of, it's one thing to see, navy blues or different colors, but when you see that really bright sky blue dots and bursts that are all over the moon, what is that? That actually looks like lights. What do you make of it?
I have no idea. All I can tell you is that they're there. And this is what my main purpose is. I present the evidence as it presents itself. I have no hand in manipulating or causing evidence to look like things. This is stuff that NASA shot, man. All I'm doing is addressing it and showing it to you in a way that makes sense to you. Here it is. Look at this. I mean, look at that golden arch.
I'm there now.
Look at the golden arch. I do not make that stuff up, man. That thing is residing on the front side of the moon in an area where there appear to be mountains of gold. I mean, those are gold nuggets there or something that looks like gold. But here's this golden arch. What do you make of that?
You can almost see a shadow, too, as well. But that is obviously
standing up.
A St. Louis arch.
Yes, and it's standing up. Who built that? What built it? And is it made out of gold? It appears to be.
Have you been able to get another angle on the same area?
I downloaded all of the front side of the moon, all of the moon's surface, which is 850 images that are 45 inches by 35 inches and huge. I mean, I'm talking huge imagery. Okay, 850 images of 1.8 million digital images that were taken in full color back in 1994. I don't have access to the rest of it, so I can only imagine what is there.
What happens? You know what? You should answer this after the break. This is Fade to Black on the Dark Matter Radio Network, bespoke radio for the masses. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We are talking with director Jose Escamilla. And Jose, what happens when you contact NASA or JPL now?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely. I mean, I had a lady that works there that was going to try to get me a brown bag presentation, which is like you get people to come in and all the NASA scientists gather around in the luncheon room and you give a lecture and you present your goods. I was invited to be there, and then I was uninvited. So it was like they never say a word to me. They say nothing.
I can only imagine there's probably a memo, that went around.
Memo. Delete Jose Escamilla from any brown bag lunch presentation.
I need an explanation on this arch. Some of the other stuff I could, it's one thing, but when you look at this, I mean, it's like, come on, and somebody just tweeted in a funny way, it's McDonald's, but that's exactly the point. You know what I mean? That's exactly
McDonald's
the point.
On the moon.
McDonald's on the moon. There it is.
I could take that.
I'm looking at this enlargement that you've sent us. Oh my goodness gracious!
It's undeniable. And this is the thing, man. I don't make the stuff up. I don't need to. NASA has filmed this.
And when I'm looking at the arch, you get the enlargement of the arch up there. Let me see which one she has up here now. She has, not the 8 Mile High Tower. Do the enlargement. It's called, I think it's image number, it's probably 5 or 6. Image number 5 is the enlargement. Now, as I'm looking, there's two things here, Jose. It's the bottom of the arch. It looks like the arch is either there's a shadow being cast or it's a full circle. Either way, it's funky. But at the bottom of the arch, at the 6 o'clock position, it almost looks like it goes organic, like a root from a tree. Do you see that? Like a thumb?
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, the thumb coming off of it. And I'm calling it it's not a thumb, but that how does NASA answer something like this? I mean,
they don't. And here's the key thing. You have to realize when I raise questions and I present it to them, they never answer me.
Right.
It's like it goes, I send an email or I send a photo and I go, hey, what is this? It's taken by the Clementine mission, photo number, blah, 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 blah. I go, what is it? And they don't answer.
Huh.
What is the best way to ignore something is don't answer it. I mean, if they were to say, well, Jose, you're talking out the wind, man. That's just a McDonald's half circle that we kind of jokingly put up on the surface of the moon just to fake you out. But they never answer me,
Wow. You know what I just did? Jose, are you looking at the enlargement?
I'm looking at the biggest enlargement.
Okay, that's what I'm looking
at. I got.
Okay, check this out. Cock your head a little bit so you're cocking your head to the left.
Okay.
Now, at the bottom, it almost looks like an omega sign.
Yeah, I see that. I've looked at that before.
You see that?
Absolutely.
Now we're looking at something artificial. This is not natural. It's one thing when you look at it as an arch with your head cocked to the right, because it is. You can see the sun reflecting off of the top of it, and it's an arch. If you cock your head to the left, now it's got a full circle, and there seems to be a base to the structure that is going from 6 o'clock up to, it's an angle there. It's like 30 degrees. It's in a straight line. That's pretty interesting, man.
Yeah.
This is pretty good. Now, okay, so put that aside. As you're looking at that, I'm cocking my head to the left a little bit. What is this figure here at the 3 o'clock position? What is that? Looks like it's obviously not a statue, but that's a large.
It's a shape of some kind, but it's a shape made by a different amount of little hills or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could see what it looks like a humanoid.
Yeah, I see. We can't go there because that means it would be 50 miles tall.
Yeah.
But that's.
However, I do have figures that are 8 or 10 miles high, that I've found on the surface of the moon. But
okay, we'll get to that. Yeah, exactly. And then immediately to the right of this figure is this bright, rectangular, metallic-looking thing that's even brighter than the arch itself.
Yeah.
And that doesn't look like anything I've ever seen on the moon. It doesn't look like a crater. It doesn't look like a moon rock. It doesn't look like any. That looks just artificial. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't.
And this is just one photograph of 1.8 million taken. So you have to fathom that, look, this is just not even an ounce of what's there. This is just a photograph, and this is in the front side of the moon, by the way. This is not on the far side, hidden by us.
Right.
This is right there, man, blatantly in front of us, just southeast of Aristarchus, which is the brightest crater on the front side of the moon. This is stuff that's happening right there. But this was in 1994. No telling what it's like now. And, when China and India recently went there, I know they photographed the same areas.
Right.
Same areas of interest. I know that they, on the far side of the moon, they photographed Lobachevsky, where that giant 10-mile wide, 6-mile high structure that was built back in the 1970s exists today. I know they photographed it. I mean, and they've just kept secret about everything, man. They haven't released anything. So here's the thing. On my website, UFOs from Outer Space, I have a fundraising program. Okay. I intend to raise $250 million. $250,000, maybe $1 million or so. I'd like to send my own probe to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
It can be done.
Yes.
It can be done.
Yes, it can.
And I guarantee you, man, if I get to the moon, I am going to show you everything. I'm not going to charge anything for anybody to see it. I'm going to present it as it presents itself. That's what I do, man. I present the evidence as it presents itself. It's just very difficult making these movies, man, when you have no money to make them with.
Well, you just need to go to our sponsor, truthfunders.com. That's our big sponsor here at Fade to Black, truthfunders.com, all about funding expeditions and paranormal and space and ufology, Truth Funders. And
I'm going to hit you guys up because what I plan to do, making the movie UFOs from Outer Space is just the beginning. That's just the start. I want to send a probe into the upper atmosphere, and if you go to ufosfromouterspace.com, you see the fundraising application and all that stuff, man, the crowdfunding thing, but you're going to read what we want to do, man. I want to get up there, send my own probe, in outer space and film the things and bring you the evidence. My gosh, man, for a couple of $100,000, I could do so much that NASA is charging you $12 billion a year to do.
Well, I've often...
And they keep it from you, man.
Well, you know what? They don't want it. If anything gets discovered out there, it's going to be because it was somebody private. And they don't want that, man. The last thing they want is some guy like you, Elon Musk, sending private commercialized craft to the moon to reveal the big lie. Whether it's alien or not, or ancient and it's been there for millions of years, or it's still active, whatever it is, if there's anything there, and they've said this whole time that there's nothing there, and then we find out that there is, that's what they don't want.
Well, I'm showing you that there is or was. Okay? And in this film, UFOs from Outer Space, you're going to see a lot of things that they don't want you to see. But I've absconded the information. I have the photography, the video footage, and the film stuff. And they just don't want you to see it. But I'm presenting it there, man,
Yeah. Did you see Bob just posted, and I was going to bring this up, the Dark Side of the Moon, China's Dark Side of the Moon pic? Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it, no.
It's right there in the Twitter feed. It's right on top. Just popped in.
Hold on.
That's
Bob. Let me see, Bob. Where's Bob?
Bob.
Yeah, China's Dark Side. Come on, man. That's a Walt Disney... That's part of a Walt Disney movie. You can even see the Walt Disney logo in the right lower corner. That's an old, how do you say it? That's an old con, man. That's an old photo. It's not a real photo, dude. Sorry.
Okay, Bob. Sorry.
Bob, come on. I caught you there on that one, man.
Well, you know what, though? But this is what goes on the web. And this is one of the reasons why not only our audience, we're all on the quest for truth. And you and Barra too. Barra should call in tonight. I know he's listening to the show. He listens every night. This is what happens on the web, and you are a straight shooter.
Straight up, man.
You're just as and that's it. You're merely pointing stuff out and saying, "Check this out. What do you think?"
Yeah.
But that's that. What about the dark side of the moon? Have you had the opportunity to spend time there?
I have so much stuff from the dark side, and a lot of people don't understand that at some point in time the sun does shine on the dark side of the moon. And that's where NASA takes advantage of photographing and doing a reconnaissance of the far side of the moon is when the sun is shining on it. Now you have to realize that the moon rotates around the sun. And the moon does rotate on an axis, but it does not rotate left to right. It rotates south to north, or north to south. It rotates in a different way, but it always has the far side of the moon illuminated by the sun when it gets in front of the sunlight. And that's where NASA photographs a lot of the far side of the moon. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of stuff on the far side of the moon, man. I have so much that in 1 hour of video I could not even fathom showing you. I mean, there is so much stuff up there that's just amazing, that's incomprehensible.
How do you deal? How do you deal with the skeptics and the critics? I mean, you out of everybody, Mike Barra too. We'll get Mike to call in.
I tell them this. Guys, if you have an argument, I'm presenting the evidence as it presents itself. That's it. If you find that NASA is lying to us, then tell us. But I'm not lying to you. I'm just presenting the evidence as it's presented, man. How can they argue with that?
Yeah, you can't. And one of the things that I do when I get into these conversations and somebody says, we've never been visited, and they go, prove it. Well, no, you prove it. What I have hundreds of thousands of sightings throughout history, photographs, images, eyewitness testimony, radar signatures, astronauts, the government, the United States Air Force, everybody else reporting on this. So it's up to you to prove to me that they haven't been here, because you can't.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that, all these debunkers and critics and paid debunkers and all that crap, they raise questions, but that they can't even answer either, I mean, they say, well, that's just the sunlight shining off of a lens, shining off of the Earth, and it causes this anomaly and that. Well, prove it, and they can't.
Let's go to, let's see. I'm at image number, this is pretty crazy, which is image, I'm trying to find it here in the... which one is it in the gallery? It is image number 4. Image number 4. And it is the concentric circles in the crater. There's the two objects in the middle of the crater, the bright one and the dull one. I don't know which crater this is. I'm enlarging it now.
Hang on, let me find this. Image number 4.
It's got the green crater off at 9 o'clock.
Jeez, I gotta find this here.
Okay, let's see. Let's not forget about it. Whoa, get image number 4 up on Twitter so everybody can see the enlargement.
What would I see it on your website?
Just go to your page. Go to your page. Click on if you go down to where it says read more on your section of the homepage, click on that. That takes you over to your page. Man, our website is slow right now. There's a lot of people on it.
Slamming.
Yeah. Okay, so now image number 4.
Number 4.
The second row to the right.
Oh, the pipelines. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is from the far side of the moon. I don't know the crater name because NASA does not list the crater name. Okay? I have every crater listed by NASA on a map that I downloaded. It's about 150 DPI. It's huge, of the far side of the moon. And I pinpointed where this crater is located. This crater is not named.
Why?
I don't know.
It's pretty big.
It's huge, and you can tell there's pipelines there. And this is located to the right side of Tchaikovsky, which is a very popular crater on the far side of the moon. And this thing, it's a massive crater. It's about 60 miles in diameter. It's not named. All the other craters are named around it, So it's like I'd have to go back in the archives and find the location of this crater, but it is not named for some reason.
And are the pipelines the two straight sections at the top that are parallel?
Well, you can tell that they are geometric. I mean, the ones at the top go in a straight line to the right and then downward.
Right.
And then the ones in the center go kind of covering. It sort of looks like a generator.
Or what's the word I want to use? A refinery.
Yeah, there you go.
A refinery. And so on the top section, if I'm looking at this correctly, the very top pipeline that goes down to the ground, I wonder how many miles that is. It's got to be huge.
That would be at least, you have to figure this crater is about 30 to 40 miles in diameter.
Right.
And sticking up, I'd say they're about 10, 20 miles high.
Now, there's a shadow being cast on the right side where the pipeline is coming back down to the surface of the moon.
You can see that plainly, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it plainly. You can see the light coming in from the top, from behind it. So you can see the shadow of it down. It's plain as day that this is an object that is sitting hugely off of the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
And then, but what's strange about what I'm looking at here is the topmost structure is nearly identical to the structure that is sitting in front of it. You can see that they are shaped the same way, including the center sections of it.
Yeah.
It looks like they're identical structures. That's not some kind of accident. I don't see how that would be formed naturally.
No. These are definitely artificial devices. And if you look towards the right of it, there are other structures there and other areas. There's a lot of stuff going on in this photo. So, this is definitely an artificial structure, and it's massive. It's huge.
I can only imagine what it looks like on your screen. I can't blow it up any larger here.
I've got the ultimate, man. I've got the ultimate.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come over, Jimmy. I'm serious. You have to come over and spend a couple of hours with me so that I can totally blow your mind.
Hey, you know what? Right down the street from your house, I'll stop by there. I don't know if you know, but over on McClay and 4th, right there where the library is, you know where I'm talking about.
I know exactly where that is.
There is a new burger stand there that is that they smoke their own meats and grind their own stuff right there. And it is insane.
Okay, we're going to do that.
Okay,
we got to do that.
I'll stop by there. I'll pick up the stuff and I'll head up the hill.
Forget it, man. We're doing this.
I'm telling you, man, you have not had... I don't know how I just got off on this tangent.
I know, but it's okay.
But their smoked tri-tip that they do there and their pastrami.
You're making me hungry now.
I'm telling you. And they have a foot-long cheeseburger that's got 4, I'm not making this up, 4 quarter-pound patties in a row. And your own choice. And and your own choice of cheese. And then they have these grilled pickled onions.
Heart attack, here we come.
Yeah, man, like nothing you've ever had. Anyway, so yeah, I'll do that, and I'll come up and I want to look at the stuff in high res. This image here, when you first look at it, okay, you would kind of blow past this. But the more that I look at it and the way that the shadows are, and it's an obvious structure that is
it's huge.
It's sitting up. It's up. It's up. It's like
a
It looks industrial. It looks. You don't even have to squint your eyes and imagine.
That's the term. It looks like an industrial complex.
It does. It totally does. And then
pipelines and refineries and that kind of thing.
And then, you know, what's really interesting in this picture too, also, is the 7 o'clock position and that area down there. That, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock on the inner. That's something's going on there.
Oh, and I have to show you the full photo, which is that whole area. There's so much going on. There's so many things and structures there. It's just that I focused on this because obviously this is a pipeline type of a refinery or something there.
It's so funny because when I first said to you, okay, so what's going on with this picture? and you know, you just stop for a second and just take a look and look at the shadows and look at what's going on. When you said pipelines, I was like, no, I don't see it. But that is not the edge of a crater. That is some kind of structure that is leading around. That is interesting. That is a very interesting picture.
Massive, to say the least.
Oh, let's see here. You know what? Where are we here on the timeline of things? This is Fade to Black on the Dark Matter Radio Network. We are talking with Jose Escamilla, director, Bespoke Radio for the Masses. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. If you have any questions for Jose, you can email me right now, Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. And also, man, I'm telling you, our website is really being, there's a lot of people on it right now. It is really slowed down. Okay, let me go back to, I want to talk about did we do Doppelmayr?
No, but I think we did a little bit of it with the number 2, the tower.
That's right. That's right. I feel like we skimmed past that. I don't know how anybody could deny that is a number 2 sitting there.
I know. It's not a geometrical thing. It's not a landscape thing. And you can see that there are deliberate buildings there. Deliberate buildings, dude. I mean, what can you explain about this? Oh, it's just part of the geological lay of the land. No, thank you, sir. There are things there that are huge. This is about a 60-mile diameter crater, and that tower must be at least, the tower with the number 2 on it must be at least 10 miles high.
Now, on the 8-mile high tower on the far side of the moon.
Oh,
let's
one.
Yeah, let's go to this pic. And,
I call it the Eiffel Tower of the moon.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower, which is with your copy here, your text, 8-mile high tower, far side of the moon. It's right above the word far, correct?
No, it's to the left of that, dude. It's where it says 8 mile. Look straight up. There's the tower right there. It looks like Genie's lamp. I Dream of Jeannie.
Okay, I'm looking at it.
Do you see it?
Yes.
It says 8 mile. Right above the 8 mile word, there's this tower, man. It looks like Genie's lamp. That thing is on the far side of the moon, the lower part of the right side of the moon, and it's 8 miles tall as far as the geological terrain, because NASA is not giving us any information on this thing.
What's it made of? I mean, you don't know what it's made of, but looking at it here.
What do you think? I mean, what the heck is that? And you can see a pipeline stretching out to the left.
Yes.
There are other structures too in the other areas there that are illuminated, but this thing looks like a glass bottle, a genie bottle, man. It looks like genie. I dream of genie for some reason.
It does.
But it's 8 miles high. According to the terrain surrounding there, I've made measurements. Guys, I have to make armchair measurements, man. Armchair science here. Because NASA's not giving us any information on these things and these structures. So I have to use the lay of the land and measurements made by NASA in otherwise locations to come to these assumptions as to how tall this thing is. Please don't take me as a scientist. Come on, man, I'm a filmmaker.
Right.
All right. But I don't have any other way of making measurements other than using measurements made by NASA on other parts of the same area, okay? And so I had to make the assumption that this thing is 8 miles high, And as I always say, I don't make the stuff up. I present the evidence as it presents itself. And this thing is definitely an 8 mile tall tower, or so, maybe 6 miles high. I don't know, but it's definitely at least 6 miles tall.
Wow. I don't know
Using my armchair science.
Yeah, I don't know what this could be possibly made of. I know. Is it made out of glass? Is it made out of plastic? I mean, what is it made of? When you look at, and speaking of this, and I'm not comparing, this is apples and oranges, but it's more of a relative question. When you look at some of Hoagland's stuff, when I had him on the show, we kind of went toe to toe a little bit, because on some of his stuff with the glass structures and the glass walls in the background just looked to me like over saturated and digital artifacts in the background of a picture. And when it just didn't look, to me, it just didn't look artificial. It just looked like an artifact of the photograph itself.
Well, I did find Hoagland's glass castle. I have found that, and it's featured in Celestial, and it is a glass structure type of deal, but it's more definitive than what he's ever presented.
Well, what I had explained, this is what I said to Richard, and again, he's done a lot of important work, and for a lot of us, whether he's right or wrong, he certainly caused a lot of awareness, and that I dig, because some of the best Art Bell shows ever in the 1990s were him and Hoagland had me glued to the radio all night long. And jumping on the internet and looking at all of this stuff. So certainly I'll give him that. But if these things, some of his stuff, when you're looking at 20, 30 mile high glass towers, that your friend would be able to see in Texas from his back porch. And why aren't we seeing that? And amateur astronomers that are looking at the moon, why aren't they seeing this stuff with the naked eye? When I say naked eye, with the telescope.
One of the reasons is they don't have enough power in their telescopes. I mean, they can see the color, but they just can't see the structures like we're seeing. This thing is on the far side of the moon, so there's no way he's going to.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is apples and oranges. I'm not referring to this here, but what?
Yeah, but if they had the power and that most of our observatories have. The observatories are seeing this stuff on the front side of the moon clearly, man. They're just not disclosing it because they're funded by the government. They will lose their careers. They will go to jail. They will get excessive fines, and they will be shut down, man.
Right.
And that's the thing. So what do we have to do? We have to present the evidence that we can gather up from different websites. I mean, all this stuff that you're seeing here was not from NASA's website. It was from a geological survey website.
Right.
The United States Geological Survey website called mapaplanet.org or mapaplanet.com. And that's where I found this imagery in 2009 by accident. So it's like, you would think that NASA would have this stuff out there, but NASA is hiding it. And what's the best way to hide it? In plain sight.
Sure. Well, and I forget who said this in one of your documentaries, but you'll know. I think when he said, and I was interviewing this guy from NASA, and he said, his response to, did you lie to us or so? And the answer was, we lied about everything.
Exactly.
We never told the truth about anything.
Yeah, he says, no, we never told the truth. We lied about everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary statement. Well, I had a friend, I've said this before on the show, Jose, I had a friend, well, still do, that works over at JPL, and he works at Caltech. And he worked on Curiosity, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, when it finally landed, him and I were talking back and forth, and we were, totally excited, and I'm talking about eyeball to eyeball. He's sitting in front of me. And I said, look, man, is there anything there? Tell me the truth. He said, Jimmy, seriously, if I knew something, I'd tell you. But we need to find something because we need the funding. And the way that he said it to me, it was like, first off, I believed him because I believed he believed what he was saying. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I didn't see any deception with that.
No, he's being very truthful.
Yes.
But he's on the outside of the shell. He's one of the guys that's outside saying, man, we are searching for the truth. We are searching for this. And he's not privy to the real inside information of what's going on. He's sitting on a desk on the outside rim of the ones that are in the know on the inside hub. So, of course, he's telling you the truth. He says, oh, man, we need to find out. He is part of the non-knowledgeable types, man. He's just out there working his ass off, searching for the truth, not ever knowing what the inside hub knows.
Well, I had said to him, I said, why, if I was in control of JPL and I'm firing stuff up there, if I was that guy, I would get something the size of a bobcat that digs up my backyard. And that's what I would have digging up the soil there. I would be digging trench. I would really be drilling. I would really be, first off, I would shoot it to where the action is. If there's frost and snow up there on Mars, the white stuff, I'm going there. That's where I'm going. I'm going where the action is. Why are we not going to where the action is? And why aren't we really digging? Why aren't we really drilling? Why don't we have some real machinery up there? Instead of, this frail stuff or these little tiny drill bits drilling a quarter of an inch into a rock.
That's all BS, man. Let me tell you something. In my film Moon Rising, I don't know if you got farther into the film about the space cable things.
Yes.
Space, thing.
Yeah.
Well,
the elevator.
The elevators, yeah.
Yes.
Well, there is a lady, and there was a friend of mine, who's a dear friend of mine. He's a contributor to my movies. He goes to a lot of conferences. He went to Las Vegas at a conference where this lady was supposed to appear. And her story was that she knew about the space elevator stuff, that it's real. And there was a guy that was presenting, and he told his story. Here's what he said at this conference. He says, look, I went, I'm at home, I wake up every morning, I have breakfast with my family, okay? A military truck picks me up at 9:30. They take me to this military base. I get into this, I get my orders, I get my work order for that day. I take my tools, I get my tools and everything else. I am walked to an elevator by an MP, and I enter this elevator. I am taken up, and then the elevator opens on Mars. Okay? And he says, I walk out and I go to the generator that I'm supposed to fix or do whatever work on. I come back, I get back on the elevator. Boom, I'm back on Earth. I get picked up by the MP truck, military truck. I am taken home by 6 p.m., and I'm now having dinner with my family. Now, this is a story this guy told, okay, that he gets into this elevator, and he winds up on Mars, does the work he's supposed to do, gets back in the elevator, and by 6 p.m. he's home having dinner with his family. And he says it's an everyday thing. All right? There was this lady that was supposed to be at this conference that was going to show actual footage of these elevators and how they work and everything else. She never made it. She disappeared.
Really?
So, yeah, really. So it's like, and I presented this in Moon Rising about these space elevators, you know, and it goes back to Egyptian times.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, come on, man, there's something to it. And I don't make this stuff up. I'm presenting the evidence as it presents itself. I keep telling people this because I have to qualify everything I do in my films. You know, I am presenting you stuff that is presenting itself as the way it is. I don't make this stuff. I don't have to make it up.
One of the interesting, we're talking with Jose Escamilla, the director. One of the interesting things in Moon Rising was all of the Hasselblad camera evidence and the crosshairs.
Yeah,
you know, and the backgrounds. Can you talk about that for a second and how you presented it?
Yeah, I found out that you know, a lot of the cameras that were used were Hasselblad cameras. They had these crosshairs used for measurement. Okay, you could if you take a photograph without using two cameras, stereography to get a measurement. These Hasselblad cameras had these crosshairs. All right, and they gave you a measurement situation where you could say, okay, the mountain over there is 20 miles away or 20 meters, whatever. Well, a lot of the crosshairs were erased in the sky portions of the photographs. I mean, there were even instances where the crosshairs were leading up, and then all of a sudden the crosshair was cut in half, and the background is now black. You know, there was something there, and there's a thing called emulsion of the film. All right? Emulsion is the grainy part of a photograph. And if you mess with it, you can tell that it's been cut out.
Yeah, it's the film layer. It's made out of silver and, well, other stuff too as well. Silver, emulsion.
So I found that 98% of the NASA photography has been manipulated and or erased.
Now, the crosshairs, just so I'm clear too as well, is there 9? It's like a tic-tac-toe board, right? So you have them at the top of the photograph, you have them in the middle, and then you have them at the bottom of the frame. Correct?
You have crosshairs geometrically situated all over the photo. So when you look at the NASA photos, you see these little plus signs
Right, plus signs, yes.
And they're just giving you indicators of distances from the camera.
And the crosshairs are etched on the lens, right? So they're there regardless in every photograph. They have to be.
They're etched behind the lens. The lens is there. Then you have the meters, the crosshairs in the plate, and then you have the photograph.
So regardless of any photograph, all of those crosshairs are there, period. There's no way to take it out unless you go in and remove them after the fact.
After the fact, yeah. And I found that was what's happening in a lot of the NASA photography. And why would they do that?
Well, that's my question to you.
They wanted to eliminate whatever was there, and unfortunately the crosshairs were in the way, so they erased everything and made it black.
Why wouldn't they, they can't be that dumb, but why wouldn't they then go and put them back after they change the background?
Because you can't. That's the problem.
Right.
Okay, and in those days, the technology they had in those days to do that, they didn't have Photoshop where you could do a layer and fix it. All right, in those days, they had to do it manually. They had to get the photograph and actually cut out.
Yeah, you're using X-Acto knives and paint,
man.
and actual paint.
1960s.
Yes.
1960s, man. So they had to crudely cut out things, and it's just like the Lee Harvey Oswald photograph with a rifle and the gun and all that, and his chin is cut off, and there's a different face put on.
Right.
That's what was done. You know, this was back in those days. Nowadays, you can do it seamlessly.
When you look at those NASA photographs and you look at the horizon and you look at the cut line with the mountain in the background or whatever it is, how many of those photographs do you think they changed the horizon and above?
I would say 98%.
Yeah, that's the way it looks to me, too.
Of all Apollo photographs. I'm talking from Apollo 1 to Apollo 17. 98% have been doctored.
And so that begs to the obvious question. Why would they do that?
Yeah, because there's things there they don't want us to see.
It's not necessarily that they weren't on the moon, but they didn't want us to see what was happening in the background.
Yeah. Perhaps it was a big castle there that they said, wait, we got to cut this out, dude.
Yeah, there's an 8 mile...
There's an 8 mile high tower. We got to cut that sucker out of there, dude.
Oh.
And the JQ public will believe it because they believe we are telling the truth. So,
when you look at the NASA photographs, do you have on your website your favorite shots that have been doctored?
Oh, you know, I have so many favorite. As a matter of fact, you know what I ought to do when I get time in between making UFOs from outer space? I should make a half-hour video of all the fake stuff they've done, man, the stuff they faked and the stuff they lied to us about, man. I mean, they've done so much stuff. It's ridiculous, man. It's really aggravating knowing what they're doing and what they've done and that nobody notices.
You want to take some phone calls?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Open up the phone lines right now. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045 if you would like to talk with Director Jose Escamilla. 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in Fade to Black 14. Fade to Black 14. That's the number 14. I have neglected Twitter all night, so I'm going to go back and look. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, hold on.
Let's go.
First one. Hey, Dino, how are you? Say hi to Jose.
Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jose. This was psychic. I was just starting to dial when you said you were opening the line. So
okay, there you go.
I must have been meant to get through. I just want to say, you know, the feed cut out a couple of times on me tonight, Jose, but I'm anxious to see your film. It's if nothing else, it'll be entertaining. I don't have a lot of expertise in these. My question to you tonight is, based on what you know from making the film and knowing Jim Mars and everything that you know now, would you willingly, if you could, go up to the moon and walk around and take off your helmet?
Yeah, man. In a minute.
Really? You would risk it all based on what you know already? All the
I would do that, but I would have an oxygen tank just in case.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to know. I'll let someone else call in.
I would not BS you. I would say, you know what, dudes? I'm going to take a chance here, and if I nearly start choking to death, forget it, man. I'm going to put on the oxygen tank. But I do believe that there is a thin atmosphere on the moon.
Thank you so much, Dino. All the best.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Jose. Who's calling?
Hello, Jose. This is Bear, and I'm from Santa Clara.
Hello, Bear.
Hey, the one thing that I was wondering about is on the far side of the moon, it kind of looks like it's kind of lit up like street lights. Does that appear to be what you interpret?
Well, you know, a lot of the stuff is artificial lighting. I mean, I don't believe that the moon is made up of dust that glows in the dark, as you've been misled by Santa Claus.
Yeah, because I was looking at the tracks coming out. It looked awfully moist, soil to me.
There's a lot of spots on the moon that I've found that are in the dark area where there is no light shining from the sun, yet there are self-illuminating orbs and things. It almost looks like a baseball park, where you've got this baseball stadium lit up by lights.
Yeah, that's what I was noticing. It looked like it's quite, like that, and also like a, big industrial complex.
Exactly, man.
Well.
And NASA will tell you. NASA will outlandishly lie to you and say, "Oh, that's just dust illuminated by phosphorus." I mean, come on, man. We're not. This is
can I have some fun with you?
Huh?
Is there any way I can hitch a ride on a rod and go and dig a cave on the moon?
Probably so, but you got to pay for the ticket, bub.
Hey, Bear.
That's what the rod's for.
Thank you so much, Bear. Thank you so much.
You have a good one.
You too.
Be well, be safe, and be cautious all, and have a good one.
Thank you, Bear.
All right, man.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Jose. Who's calling?
This is Lori Burks. Hi. Finally glad to hear your voice.
It's good to hear you.
I got a question now. Okay, so I was wondering, why do you think that NASA and the government is hiding what they have found on the moon? And also, I was wondering if you have seen that video on YouTube with the lady that they found on the moon, that they were doing some kind of an autopsy or something, and I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, of course I have.
Well, that fake?
Okay, well, the reasons that NASA and all the foreign space agencies are hiding the full color of the moon photography and the fact that there are UFOs and civilizations on the moon is that they don't want us to know that they know we have an enormous amount of people out there that are part of our civilization. I mean, there are things out there that are existing among us. We have been visited, we have been infiltrated. And the more people that come in tune with that, the more it's going to be difficult for them to hide this evidence from us. And the evidence is, once we find out the truth that there are things that they've been hiding from us and that we know can benefit us, then there's going to be a riot. I mean, a worldwide riot. And what was the other question?
What we're afraid of then is a worldwide riot if we know the truth?
Absolutely.
And do you think that would happen? Do you think there would be a worldwide riot if the public knew? If everyone knew?
Yeah, because everybody would be pissed off to find out that we've had a different source of energy that we could use other than gas and oil.
Sure, yeah, they wouldn't be mad.
Man.
They wouldn't be mad because there's life out there. They would be mad because of the lie that they've been living. Yes, that's the problem now. They're so dug into a hole now. Now that's the problem that's on their hands. We know there's life out there,
and they keep trying to keep people stupefied, man. My gosh.
Right, but it seems like their lives are beginning to unravel.
Yeah.
And people are starting to wake up and starting to see and understand that there are more things out there than what we can see with our eye, and that the government is hiding things. I mean, look all around us.
Well, I can guarantee you my new movie.
Daily to us.
I guarantee you my new film, UFOs from Outer Space, is going to piss a lot of people off because they're going to find out, wow, this is stuff that NASA shot, that NASA never showed me, and here this guy, Jose, is showing us what's out there, and it's freaking scary, man. Come on, wake up.
Thanks for the phone call.
Let's riot.
Well,
Let's riot.
One other question. How do you know, how are people going to know? This is the thing. I think people are skeptical a lot of the time because they don't know what to believe and what not to believe because there's so much out there that is just, fake stuff, just disingenuous, fake articles, fake pictures. And so it's hard for people, the American public, or really the worldwide public, to believe what they're seeing and what they're hearing, because they don't even know it's real anymore.
Well, see, but that's part of it. Make some of it real, make some of it not real, so your head starts spinning and you don't know what to believe.
Well, they believe that Obama is cool. They believe that George W. Bush is a savior. I mean, get out of here, man. How stupid can you be?
Thank you so much for the phone call.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby.
I want to go back to what Bear was saying. And that opens up the phone lines, 323-825-5045, 323-825-5045. One of the things that I like to talk about is, if you were Jose, you're cruising by, you're in your flying saucer, right? And you're cruising through the Milky Way, and you come into our solar system, and you just drive by, and you glance out the window. You can look and see that the Earth is occupied. It's very simple, right? It's gleaming with light and action, and it's full of life. You can see that, right? Well, the way that the Earth looks is what you are also presenting with the surface of the moon in celestial. When you're cruising around and you're looking at your video, the two bodies have the same kind of vibe. They feel, the moon looks like it's teeming with life, just like Earth.
Well, look at it this way. The aliens that came here like 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago, before civilizations had, a Congress, a White House, and a bunch of idiots running them ragged. I mean, these aliens came here, and they were recorded about in ancient cave drawings from 50,000 years ago, man.
Right.
All right? And the moon stuff, I mean, here's the thing about the moon. I just barely discovered that the moon was full color back in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
The observatories have known this for over 100 years. The Department of Defense has known this. NASA has known this. Other space agencies. The White House has known this. So what alien race would want to contact us? I mean, they've already contacted us. They've already infiltrated us. They're already here. It's not about, are we alone in the universe? No, we're not, man. We are infiltrated. There are so many people here on Earth that are alien to our human species. That's ridiculous, man. It's a ridiculous statement to ask whether we are being visited. We're already infiltrated.
Go to Twitter real quick. Look at the picture that Casper Innocenti just posted. Now, this has been out on the web forever. Okay, and
let me look at this. Let me find this here. Twitter.
And I just want your opinion on this. This has been floated around and floated around, and then no, this section was presented in my original movie, UFOs from Outer Space. I mean, I'm sorry, UFO, The Greatest Story Ever Denied. Right.
First film I did. This is an excavation that was done somewhere in Afghanistan or Kazakhstan or something like that. This is not part of a moon landscape. This is here on Earth.
Okay, so that answers that question.
Yeah.
Now I
use that in my film as Carl Sagan was saying, there are excavations here on Earth that if you look at this geometrical type of stuff in outer space, like the moon and Mars, boom. And this is not in outer space.
Now, if you look at the inset of this picture, that's the photograph from China's lander. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what do you make of that? You know what? Somebody needs to post the high-res version of this in Twitter of the China lander. That's pretty interesting because that's at the top of a crater When you look at the high-res version of it, it definitely looks like 2 or 3 buildings stacked up on top of each other.
I've seen that too, but I kind of question that China thing because it seems to me like it's a Photoshop thing of something on the moon.
It's too good, isn't it?
Well, not that it's not that's too good. It's just that it's too how would you say it? It's too fake looking to me, And I know Photoshop, dude. I've been doing Photoshop since version 1.0.
Right. Me too.
Now it's at 6 point whatever, but no, man, I think this is all fake stuff. And until I really get my hands on the real stuff, from China and from Japan and India, everything else is like, okay, well, it's questionable.
Have you ever? We're talking with director Jose Escamilla. Have you had your Men in Black moment?
Yeah, in Roswell, New Mexico, man. We had a van that was parked out in the alleyway in the back of the building. This is back in 1995. And my sister said, Jose, there's a black van out there with smoked windows. And I walked right up to them. And there were blonde guys, literally. There were blonde guys in black black turtlenecks sitting in the front seat. And they didn't roll the window down, but I could see them. And they just took off. They were monitoring whatever was going on in the building, but, what am I going to do? Chase them with no gun in hand?
Right.
But they were there, and I don't know if they were Men in Black. They were blonde dudes in turtleneck, shirts inside a black van with smoked windows. That's all I can say.
What about here in the San Fernando Valley? Anything ever interesting ever happen out here?
I've been followed. I can tell when I'm being followed. But no, I haven't had any major things here in the San Fernando Valley.
Nobody knock at the door?
No.
No phone issues?
I had some idiot prankster friends of mine that dressed as police, came in here and arrested me and took me for a ride in a van. It was scary. It turned out to be a pilot for a TV show they were making.
Oh, no.
And they really pissed me off, man. Scared the crap out of me.
No.
Yes, it happened. Yes, I swear to God.
That's not even funny.
No, it was funny because I fell for it.
Yeah, you fell for
it.
I
should have known better.
I remember, I'll tell this story. I don't care. I came home from school, and this is down in Panama. And I lived on an army base. I lived in a little town outside of Panama called Cocoli in the middle of the jungle. And I come home from school, and I leave my house keys in my bedroom that morning. So I was locked out of the house. And I thought, oh, man, how am I going to get into the house? And I'm walking up, and I see my dad's car right there. And oh, my dad's home. Okay, cool. So I go upstairs, and I just thought it would be funny. And I went upstairs, and I just pounded on the door, right? And I hear my mom go, somebody's pounding on the door. And I heard my dad go, well, who is it? And I pounded again. It's police, open up. And I hear from the other side of the door, I hear stuff clanking, banging. I just hear all this commotion going on. And then my dad opens up the door, and he sees it's me, and it was not a good situation. And I'm laughing. Wasn't that great? I said it was the police.
Not funny at all.
Oh, man. I think I was grounded for about a month.
Well, they did a whole deal on me, man. They took me to a fake police station in Chatsworth. They fed me steak and eggs, which was cool. But then,
how did they pull it off? If they were friends, so the people that did it, you didn't know.
It was not them. There was these guys dressed as police, a van that said police, LAPD, and they took me in. They drove me around for about an hour on the freeways, and I could hear the voices, okay, bring the suspect in, and all that kind of stuff. They brought me to this building in Chatsworth that said police station. They had police cars. They had the whole thing rigged up. And they brought me in, stuck me in a jail cell, and they kept asking me stupid questions, like, okay, so the rods, are they real, and this kind of stuff, you know? And I just, in the corner of my eye, I saw two guys way back there behind the desk walking away, and I said, man, that's Bobby Logan and then this other guy, they're my buds, you know, they're producers, and Danny Wolf, and I go, holy cow, man. And what they did is they pulled off a big prank on me for a TV show pilot, and it was funny. I could have killed him. I could have strangled him.
Man.
But I was just gullible, man. I just went for it right off the bat, you know.
What were you? Okay. You know what? That is a Men in Black moment, because up until the disclosure,
it was hilarious.
right? You didn't know what was going through your mind. Were you thinking, "Holy crap"?
I said, "Where are they taking me? You know, and who are these peeps? You know, and what did I do to get arrested? I mean, I didn't do anything, you know. So it was just crazy." But,
no, were you suddenly thinking to yourself that everything on the moon was real? I was right.
No, I was saying, what the hell, man? Where am I going? What are they going to do to me? I got to finish this film, dude.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Too much, man. It's funny.
That is hilarious. Okay, now let's talk about some other stuff. Have you? I wanted to get back to Roswell. So you grew up in Roswell.
Yep. That's my hometown.
Now, well, I'll ask you. How old are you?
I'm 63.
You're 63?
I'll be 64 March 25th of this year.
Dude, you look great. You're 63?
I'm a pretty boy.
Yeah, you are. Okay. All right, so you're 63. So then, and you were born in Roswell?
I was born in Loving, New Mexico.
Loving, New Mexico. Okay.
Yep.
Now.
Grew up in Roswell.
So that means 1953. Okay, this is good. Okay, you're the perfect guy for all of these questions then. 1953. Obviously, the Roswell stuff didn't really kick off until Stanton Friedman and Bill Moore and all those guys did that stuff in the 80s. So
well, actually, when I was 11 years old.
Okay, well, see,
I was 9 years old, actually, when I had my first UFO experience.
Hold on. I'm doing the interview, man.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because that's exactly it. So all of that stuff didn't come till later, but you're there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, you've already answered the question, but as you were growing up there, did anything strange happen? Now, obviously, something happened at the age of 9.
Yep.
So I'm going to let you tell that story. But were there rumors going around as you were growing up about Roswell?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad was kind of involved in some of the stuff that went down. Remember, he was working at the Roswell Air Force Base, which was called Walker Air Force Base,
mm-hmm.
as an electrician. And he was privy to a lot of things. But, you know, we had fireball sightings that we could see from our farm, which is 2 miles south of the air base.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a vantage point where we could see the white sands way back there, man, 200 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
We could see white sands in between two mountains from our vantage point. And our dad brought us out. I was 9 years old. I will never forget it. Brought our family out and says, look, and you could see these giant fireballs, man. There were green, orange, yellow fireballs flying like 200 miles away, dude. And if you were to outstretch your arm and make a, the sign, man, with your fingers, if you put your thumb and index finger together, that's how big they were at arm's length.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 200 miles away.
Okay.
And we could see them. And then there were broad daylight UFO sightings. My grandfather took me out one day. We were out at Midway, and he pointed to the sky, and there was these UFOs that were just kind of hovering and flying around for an instant. And, you know, this is when I was a kid, man. I was 9 years old, 10, 11 years old. I mean, I saw UFOs.
What did your dad talk to you about? What was the belief in your family? Did you guys talk about UFOs?
Well, my dad knew a guy that lived up the road from us who had absconded some of the materials from the UFO crash, and he had buried it on his property, and it's probably still there. And I remember when we were kids, we went to this cement slab. We used to hang out, and he took shots at us, man, using bird shot for us to get the hell away from there. Now, this is when I was 12 years old.
So this is 1965.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I got involved with rock and roll with the Beatles. I became a guitar player. I became a superstar in the 1960s, and I totally forgot about UFOs. However, my rock and roll band had UFO encounters, major UFO encounters, and I've written a book that I have available on my tblnfilms.com website. It's called UFOs, the Moon. You know, it's my ebook. And it tells you all of my UFO sightings since I was a kid to the present, and my moon discoveries and everything else, man.
Is that how you know Michael Luckman?
Yeah, Michael Luckman I met, I've never met personally, but he watched my movie UFO, The Greatest Story Ever Denied, and he totally freaked out on me, man. He said, that's the best UFO documentary I've ever seen.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Blah, blah, blah. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
man.
he's a pretty cool guy. He's a pretty cool guy.
Him.
Okay, so let's back up. What were the rumors that were going on about Roswell? Because it seemed, and the reason I'm asking you because you were there. You know, outside of outside of Roswell, the shutdown by the government worked because everybody else in the United States completely forgot about Roswell. After that last newspaper article, after the last radio broadcast was done, it was shut down. The information was shut down, and it was forgotten until, you know, the 80s. So, but in Roswell itself and in New Mexico itself, in that area, people still talked about it?
You know what, Jimmy? What people don't realize is us Roswellites. I mean, I'm from Roswell. I grew up there, had a rock and roll band. We were jamming, man. We were playing all over the place, man, at the Walker Air Force Base, the Airmen's Club, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We had people that talked about it, but it was not a thing. It was not like a, wow, UFO crash, you know, aliens and all that. We were just rocking and rolling. You know, people were involved in it, and I knew a lot of people that were involved in it, believe me. I mean, I grew up with little people that saw it. They saw the experience. I even asked them, and they said, yeah, it flew right over there. And I go, wow, how cool, you know, that kind of deal. But it was not like a, in Roswell, it's not like a thing where, wow, that's all we talk about. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
It's like being in the record business, okay? And you go, wow, Madonna is freaking rocking and rolling. She's making these big songs. You just don't talk about it, man. It's just like, okay, yeah, Madonna did this, blah, 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 blah. The Beatles did this, blah, 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 blah. But it's not like a thing where everybody talks about it every day.
Right.
In Roswell, it's a lackadaisical thing. It's like, wow, it happened. We know it happened. We know people that it happened to, but we're just not going to dwell in it. We're living our lives, you know, everyday lives, man. And that's the way it is in Roswell. A lot of people don't understand that the townspeople just do not dwell on it. I mean, they know it happened. They've read about it, and, okay, so it happened, blah, blah, blah. Let's just go on with our lives, man, you know. People don't realize that.
You mentioned something about your dad working at the base. Was he working there in 1947? If you were born in 1953,
I'll tell you what. He had information about the UFO crash. He told me about it when I was a kid. He knew stuff, but he never told me everything. All right? He just never said, look, here's for you to know in the future, blah, blah, blah. I wish he would have told me. But he told me about the UFO crash. He told me it was real. He knew people that were involved in it. And he just never elaborated on it, man. You know?
Wow.
Yeah,
wow, that's incredible.
He went to his death not telling me anything.
Did you know Jesse Marcel Jr.? You guys Or is he a little bit older than you?
I never met Jesse Marcel Jr., but I knew a guy that had buried the stuff. We grew up together, man. His dad and his grandpa shot at us, because we were too close to this place. I know exactly where this
Let's go, man. Buried. Let's go. I'll buy the shovels. I'll pay for the gas.
It's going to take more than that. But, I guarantee you there may be stuff there. There may be not. I don't know.
Man, let's do it. Let's do it.
I was just a kid.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Jose. Who's calling?
Hi, Jose. This is Mark from Oregon.
Hey, Mark.
So, in Roswell, Jose, you didn't get to hold any of the memory metal by any chance?
No. I know where it might be buried, according to my dad and
maybe
a couple of people.
Maybe with all your friends there in Roswell, you might have come across a piece of it.
No, Clifford Stone once showed me a little piece of metal and everything else, but I'm talking about metallic things that were buried at this area, and this is at Midway. This is like 2 miles south of the air base that used to be there, at a property where my friend's dad, and my dad told me he had buried some stuff there that he took from the base that was part of the UFO thing. So as far as finding out and getting the truth behind that, we'll have to go to this man's property, but it's not owned by the same person anymore, and I know exactly where the cement slab is.
Have you spoken? I'm sorry, Mark. You made the phone call.
No, go ahead, Jimmy. I can wait.
Okay. Have you spoken about this before publicly?
No. This is the first time.
This is the first time. Okay, so this is good.
And here's the thing.
There's some history waiting to be made there.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to be 64 years old in March, and if I had the wherewithal, if I had the funds, it's just going to take about $50,000, maybe $60,000. Because I'm going to go buy that property so that I will own it. Then I'm going to go in there and open up the cement slab. And I guarantee you, man, I'm not going to be like Geraldo and the Al Capone vault.
The vault, right.
I'm going to open it up and I'm going to say, guys, this is the alien stuff that's left behind. Here it is, man. I'm going to show it right there, man.
Let's do it.
Free.
Let's
do it. I'm not going to charge anything.
Let's do it.
I just want to get this, let's raise $60,000. This is here's the thing. This is why I have on my UFOs from Outer Space website a fundraising, crowd-raising thing, which will not only to send probes into space and film stuff, but also to do adventures like this, man, where we can go out there and buy the property, dig it up, and bring it out to the American public once and for all. Quit screwing around, man.
I'm so with you. I'm telling you, truth funders. We'll talk about that off of the air, but truth funders.
Good.
I'll second that. Truth funders. That would be a great way to go.
I'm telling you, I know exactly.
My second question, Jose, is: have you ever considered getting together with Andrew Basiago and doing a film about Project Pegasus or some of these government teleportation programs that came out of the Montauk experiment, and which we just all watched a fabulous film about recently. And anyway, have you thought about getting together with Andrew Basiago and doing a film?
Well, it seems that Andrew's already made that movie, guy.
What is it?
You said that film that's been made about it.
Oh, about the Montauk experiment.
No, Montauk. He's talking about the Montauk Chronicles. Christopher Garetano's film. That's a documentary that just came out, but that had nothing to do with Basiago or the things that Basiago said about Montauk.
Right. Yeah, it just kind of laid the groundwork for it.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got 2 other films to do, one on rods, one on orbs. And if I raise the funds, I'm going to go get this material from that place where the Roswell debris is being, underground all these years. But no, I haven't spoken with Andrew. If he feels like getting a hold of me to where we can produce a film, that would be great. But no, he has not contacted me. And at this point, like I said, I'm finishing up UFOs from Outer Space. I'm going to do another movie after this called Orbs, which I want to prove that orbs are real and not just dust, in front of the lens. Because I've photographed orbs myself, and then I want to do the Roswell Rods film. But at this point in time, if Andrew wants to contact me, give me a call, bud. You know where I'm at.
Yeah, I can put you in touch with them.
No, it's no mystery, man.
Nope, not at all. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, Jose, did you see that photograph I posted of the orb shooting through my driveway in 2012? The snow is falling at the same time. The camera frame has stopped all of the snow, and this little lighted orb is just zipping all over around my driveway.
No, dude, I haven't seen it. Send it to me or repost it.
I'll post it on Twitter again when I get off the phone.
Okay, you got it.
Right,
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, good night.
You know what I did? I have, it's on my Facebook page. I can actually send it to you. You know Steve Murillo, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Steve's over here at the house for New Year's Eve a couple of weeks ago. And we're sitting at the dinner table, and it's like, I don't know. It's 11 o'clock at night, 11:30. And Steve, you know Steve, he's a storyteller, right? So
I love Steve,
yeah, he's the best. He's the best. So he's sitting there telling one of his stories, and I snap a bunch of pictures. Now this is not outside. This isn't in the dark. This isn't in a dust-filled room. This is in my dining room, right? Just a normal, and I took like 4 or 5 shots. And there's this one shot which Steve has got this gray orb covering his face, and it's incredible. I didn't post, you know what? I didn't post that one because it had the orb in front of his face, and I didn't. And then I posted the one without the orb, and I went back and I looked at it. And I was like, holy crap! Murillo's got an orb, and it's a gray, and it's not even. It's semicircular. It's more like a potato. It's crazy looking, and it's gray, and it's solid, and it's a digital picture.
I got to see that.
Yes, this is not your typical orb pic. That could be light bouncing off of a piece of dust, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not what this is. This is Steve with something, and it's right in front of his face, and you can tell it's 3D. Yeah. So it's in between the camera and Steve, and it's suspended in the air, and judging from his face, this is the size of his face or a little smaller, so it's about 8 inches round, and it's right there. It's a bizarre pic. Soon as we're done tonight, after the show, I'll email this to you. Oh yeah, you're gonna trip.
The reason I want to make a movie about orbs is because back in 1996, I was celebrating my 44th birthday or something like that. I was in a basement at this house, and I was showing a picture to one of my friends, and I go, hey, I'm going to send you this book and blah, blah, blah. And these orbs flew around my face, okay? And I was in a basement, and they were not insects. They were not misfilmed insects or anything close to the lens. Let me explain. If it's an insect very close to the lens, it's going to be invisible, translucent.
Right.
These things were round orbs flying around my face, okay? And I'm going to open this movie with that because it's the real stuff, man. These are orbs, all right? I believe they are real. What they are, I have no idea. I don't know if they're spirit forms, okay? I don't know if they're entities, spirit entities, or whatever they are very real. And in the movie Orbs, I'm going to prove that they are not dust in front of the camera, not somebody flapping a towel causing these orb things to show up. I was not flapping towels, man, when these things were flying around my face.
Right, that's my point too. Yeah, we're doing is we're just sitting at the dining room table.
Yeah,
and I'm taking pictures of us celebrating New Year's. That's all it is. It's not.
Yeah,
there's
you weren't
nothing
flapping a towel causing dust to fly in front of the lens.
Nope.
You were filming something that was there that you didn't see with the naked eye.
Steve was flapping his jaw. He was doing that.
Hey, that's the secret. That's it. We just now solved the orbs problem. Steve Murillo flapping his jaw, man. That's it.
I've got to get you, what we didn't talk about tonight, and I wanted to save this for another time, but I want to talk about Mars. There's, excuse me, I got to hit my cough button. Okay, I'm back. We've got to talk about Mars because some of the stuff that is out there now, I think that there are enough people around the world looking at, there's so many eyes on these Martian photographs.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes, and things are being seen now that even if you can bring in any skeptic and say, okay, what's the word, pareidolia? How do you say the word?
Yeah, they're trying to come up with crap. But here's the bottom line that totally scares the crap out of them, is that we present the evidence as it presents itself. And there's just no pareidolia that anybody can claim, because this is NASA photography, man. Come on.
Yes.
And there's nothing they can do or say. Oh, it's pareidolia, it's a mass hysteria thing. No. Idiot. This is NASA photography. The only thing we're retouching is the contrast so you can see it, stupid.
Exactly. And I'm not talking about seeing a face in something. I get that. I understand. I'm not talking, I'm just talking about a rectangular box that shouldn't be there.
Oh, God.
Okay, that's that. When you see stuff like that,
Jimmy, I've got in my film UFOs from Outer Space, the Mars footage section. It's not stuff that everybody else is presenting on the internet. I got stuff that nobody's ever seen that is undeniable. All right?
Give me one taste.
This is why I'm telling you, my film, UFOs from Outer Space, is going to be a sugar booger, man. It's gonna, everybody's just going to go, holy moly, man. Wow, I never knew this. And it's right there in plain sight.
Give me one taste. One taste. What have you got?
I have a structure on Mars, okay, that is so massive and way in the distance that when you put contrast in it, it's a freaking castle, man. And you do not see that on the internet, I guarantee you. If you find it on the internet, then somebody that sent it to me, put it on YouTube. But I've never seen anything on YouTube right now.
Have you seen I know that I posted it. Have you seen the one that it looks like a howitzer cannon?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
It's okay. I don't even have that in my movie.
Really? Your stuff is better than that?
Oh,
I'm just messing with you, Jose. Just messing.
Jimmy, you got to know that I'm going to present stuff that no one else has ever presented, man. This is stuff that no one else knew existed. That is in plain sight. My God, man, the stuff I'm presenting has been there for years. People just never took notice. They never pay attention.
So the next trip down, you're going to come in the studio. We'll do it live, little pizza, a little beer.
No, here's what we're going to do.
Yes.
Jimmy Church is going to be at the movie premiere.
Oh, sure.
UFOs from Outer Space.
Okay.
And Sean Stone is going to be there. We're inviting his dad, Oliver Stone, to be there. We're inviting celebrities and everyone else, and you're going to cover the whole event.
Okay.
And you're going to interview people before, and then after they see what I'm bringing to the table.
I would love to do that.
People out.
I would love to do that.
It's going to blow people out, Jimmy. I swear to gosh, man.
We had Sean on the Stone. We had Sean Stone on the show last night.
Yeah, you had him last night. Yeah.
Yeah, or the night before. Was it last night? The night before? I can't remember.
I think it was Monday.
Yeah, Monday night. I would love to. So I'll see you this weekend. I'll come up to the house. I'll bring the sandwiches.
Bring the burgers, man. Bring the burgers.
I'm going to hook you up.
I'm
going to hook you up. Have a great night, and I'm going to shoot you the Murillo photograph right after the show. Give me about 15 minutes. And
that's going to be funny.
You're going to die. You're going to die. And I know he's listening right now.
I know. Hey, Steve, I know you're a haunted dude, man.
He's pissed off. I'll talk to you. Jose Escamilla, everybody. Thank you so much. What a great night.
Well, God bless everybody. And you know what? Stuff is coming down the pike, man. UFOs from outer space.
I'm going to be right here on Monday with a full report. Thank you.
Man.
Thank you so much, Jose.
God bless.
You too.
Jose Escamilla, everybody. I love doing this show. Tomorrow night. Now, everybody, please, right now, tweet Jose. What was it? Well, you know what to do. Tweet Jose. Tell him thank you very much from the Fadernauts. All of his stuff, you can go to his YouTube channel. He's got a ton of stuff there, too, as well. You can go to his website. Everything is there. I have now, after today, I've seen everything that Jose has done. And the skeptics and everything else, that just comes along with the party. But the stuff that Jose presents, and when you go and you look at Celestial, the UFO, the greatest story ever denied 2, Moon Rising, check that out. That was done in 2008, 2009. Check out Luna and check out Celestial. All it is it's just stuff. That's it. He's just putting it out there and saying, what is this? It doesn't make any sense. If the moon, we didn't get to Mars, but if the moon is dead and we haven't gone back because there's nothing there, we've seen everything there is to see, then what is this? And just check it out. Celestial will blow your mind. The soundtrack, too, as well, is just amazing. So anyway, yeah, it's at TBLN Films, TBLN Films, at TBLN Films. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Any comments about today's show? Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. With that, I must depart. It was a great night. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. Jose, you blew my mind. I knew you were going to. Thank you so much. Coming up next, check this out. Coming up next on Dark Matter Radio is a special presentation from Dr. J, Researchers on a Mission, with John Lear. What? Check it out. Hang out. Dr. J next with John Lear. Thank you. Thank you to Jose Escamilla. Special thanks to Keith Rowland and Art Bell. Thank you to all you Fadernauts. Fade to Black. Executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Shows produced by Hilton J. Palm and Mark D. Kovar. LJ3, Renee, and Jonas. Everybody hear Jonas tonight? His big premiere? He did pretty good. Schwartz is getting better too, isn't he? Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Method of Signaling. Music by Doug Aldridge. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Dark Matter Radio Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night is Fader Night. Open lines all night. See ya.